This reel is old.
The child who refuses to travel in the father's harness. This is the symbol of humanity's most unique capability. I do not have to be what my father was. I do not have to obey my father's rules or even believe everything he believed. It is my strength as a human that I can make my own choices of what to believe and what not to believe, of what to be and what not to be. Leto Atreides II, the Hark al-Ada biography. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. I am Eric, at Ramon Recluse on Twitter, your chronicler for this epic multi-arc awesome adventure series, which continues tonight with our first storyline, Heir Apparent. This program features adult situations and language. It may not be suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. We're Vorpal Tales, and we play a wide assortment of games 7 days a week that fall into two categories: awesome adventures and terrifying tales. Awesome Adventures air typically on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Terrifying Tales on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So be sure to check the calendar on vorpaltales.com to stay up to date with all of our shows. Special thanks goes to Brainiac 5, Clash Foreign, and Atreides Gola, and Predator Jenga for following. Vorpal Tales is sponsored in part by Wales Whiskey and Large Marge's Donut Farm, home of the best donuts you've never had. Try their new melange flavored donuts. You'll be hooked. Dune Adventures in the Imperium is out now, so don't forget to pick up your copy in PDF on DriveThruRPG and in physical copy at modifius.com/Dune. While you're on DriveThruRPG, check out some of our very own Vorpal Tales supplements that are available for sale. They include characters, monsters, and scenarios made for some of the games we play weekly. Remember to follow Modifius Entertainment and Vorpal Tales on Twitch. Visit our website and find the link to join our Discord. We're on most major social media outlets, including YouTube, where you can catch up on previous episodes. So remember to follow, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all the updates. I want to thank Modifius Entertainment for making awesome games for us to play and for providing support for their players. Modifius is also hooking us up with DriveThruRPG gift certificates worth $10 for folks who follow us on Twitch and are active in the chat for the first initial episodes of our game. Everyone likes free RPG stuff, so don't forget to sub and stay active in the chat during the game for your chance to win. A heartfelt thanks goes out to Tyler's brother at Nate Mid for the awesome character sheets he makes for many of our games. We love you, Nate. We want to give a special shout out to Infraction and Blear Moon for the use of their music. You can find more excellent ambient sounds and tunes over at blearmoon.bandcamp.com and on freemusicarchive.org. Also, we want to thank Astral Virtual Tabletop for being the platform of choice, perfect for hosting our games and providing excellent music for us to play. As always, we would like to give a big thanks to our patrons for supporting what we do and for helping us to grow. Be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/vorpaltales to find out how you too can be awesome and support what we do. Special thanks goes out to Hex and Curse. And last but certainly not least, thank you, our viewers and fans, for tuning in. Our house entourage is here and ready to engage in the deadliest of intrigues. Agents of the Imperium, remind our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Let's begin with Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. You can find me Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere on the internet. And tonight I will be playing Lady Daphne, the heir of House Cheshire.
That's right. And Ever.
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever. And tonight I shall be playing Lysander Aphelion, who is the swordmaster of the house.
Devin.
Hello, I am Devin. You can find me online at Sword of Sully. And tonight I am playing Norma, the house consort, who is also the Bene Gesserit of the group.
Key?
Hello, I'm Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama and around here on Vorpal Tales. And tonight I will be playing Perdol Reed, the Mentat with no morals.
Sean?
Hey, I'm at Space Lord PJs. Tonight I will be playing the smuggler/messenger of the house, Davos Blood.
Yeah. And last but not least, Tyler?
I am Eldritch Echoes Online, and I play Gullian Teg, Spy Master.
Nice. Thank you. And now, if it pleases the audience, we shall have our session scribe regale us with your expert retelling of the previous session.
Rachel's the scribe, but did
Oh.
did you want me to read it still?
Oh yeah, I should have worded that differently, shouldn't I?
Oh, it's all good. I was just like, wait, what? All right. Beautifully written by the lovely Rachel, who plays Lady Daphne.
That's what they pay me to do.
Wait, you get paid?
Sometimes.
Just read. Just read.
Welcome to Heir Apparent, our new Dune Chronicle. Tonight is character and house creation, as we work out who we are, what we do, and what we're working towards. Our chronicle is set in the year 10,190, under the rule of Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV Carino. First up is forming our own house, House Cheshire of the planet Jabberwock. After a brief foray into imagining ourselves as cat farmers, we decide our house is notable for our ornithopter technology. What most other houses don't know is, this is how House Cheshire achieves their primary goals of espionage, looking to legendary spy Virginia Hall as their founder. Jabberwock is established as a very cat-friendly planet, except for the dread monsters who hunt them. Crime is low thanks to our planet's secret police. Our green and silver banner displays a stylized Jabberwock rampant. As a house which specializes in understanding, our core trait is cunning. Within the house, Rachel plans to play the heir, while Sean takes the position of treasurer. Tyler adopts the role of spy master, while Key picks up war master who dabbles in martial. Ever, having made a tactician, decides on sword master while Devon goes for consort. Next up is deciding who is in charge of our house. Duchess Adelaine. As the Duchess, she is established as cunning, ruthless, and patient, and who never lets go of a grudge. And that's part of why Rachel's character is the heir, after her elder sibling pissed mother off a little too often. However, our enemy house, House Carroll, is just as dedicated to vengeance and wants to see our house fall. We probably shouldn't have gone back on that one deal. Another rival is a minor house which revolted against our house and fled to a moon, along with a variety of puppet ministers who rise up in revolt and which need to be crushed.
Revolting.
Last of all is motto, done by the unspoken word, or factum est verbum per tacitam. And that's our house. After wrapping up character creation, it's time to play. We land on Gamont, a slightly dingy pleasure planet with a complicated reputation. We've been hired, or ordered, to deliver a sealed box to someone named Celeste. We're here to meet our contact, Byron Galemi, first. Daphne isn't quite sure why she's here, but remembers how sentimental her mother was when handing it over. "It's time to stop hiding," she said. The rest of the group has received orders that we must be more discreet and clandestine than usual. As our ship lands, night begins to fall. Daphne freshens up her appearance, then makes the rounds to check in on her entourage to ensure they're all ready to disembark. Gwyllion checks in on Norma, covertly communicating that he's disposed of the porter and installed a face dancer in his place. Lysander and Pardo try to keep an eye on Daphne, who enjoys testing herself and driving Lysander up the wall by trying to shake her tail. Gwyllion does a security sweep of the area, picking out the shadiest among the crowd. One of them tries to attract Daphne's attention, but Gwyllion chases him off with the barest ripple of his skin. Our mentat is put to work calculating the safest route to where we need to be, the place called Harem. But Davos is way ahead of him, having made arrangements with a friend already. But as we set off, Pardo realizes we're taking a strange, circuitous route to Harem. It's the rougher part of the city, but no one seems at all inclined to give us any grief. We arrive at Harem, which, as the name might imply, draws heavily on the Middle Eastern aesthetic. Davos slips our drivers a few solari to remain on standby. To obscure our arrival, Gwyllion face dances into the visage of the man he earlier scared off, assuming the role of escort to Daphne's eager tourist, while the rest of the entourage discreetly follows. Within the palatial resort, we obtain one of the more luxurious suites. Lysander and Gwyllion immediately security sweep the room. They pick up on the presence of small cameras, deactivated for now, but nevertheless present. Deactivated or not, they're now disabled along with the sensors Lysander uncovered. While the security sweep is underway, Norma steps out to put feelers out as to where our contact Byron might be. She finds a servant being chastised for not producing someone named Lyra by a balding, middle-aged man. The man shoves the servant out of the room, and Norma begins following her. The servant goes to another suite, palm-locked, where the servant begins knocking. Norma seeks out Gwyllion and Davos and explains the situation. Gwyllion slips out to handle it after observing the ambient servants. Gwyllion assumes the form of one. Meanwhile, Daphne brings Pardo and Lysander with her to the gambling hall, intending to put on a show of being a high roller to try and attract Byron's attention. She succeeds, flattering Byron and finding him offer to give the lady a tour once her gaming concludes. At some point on the trip there, Daphne did in fact peek in the box, finding 2 gorgeous blue sapphires. While Daphne gambles, Davos, Norma, and Gwyllion successfully break into their target suite. It appears to be empty, except for the woman laying on the bed. It's Lyra, and she's dead. Norma spots a needle hole. Back in the gambling hall, Byron slips that he recognizes Daphne and begins leading her out of the main gambling hall. To what, however?
Excellent, thank you. And before we get started, I just wanted to touch on a couple rule stuff that I didn't touch on very heavily during house creation. One being that every time we create a minor house is controls maybe like a third or so of the planet, but a major house is typically what controls the entirety of the planet. So typically there is a house major for one particular planet and several other houses minor that vie for favor with it for that major house. A major house can be considered something like House Atreides or House Harkonnen. They control an entire planet, so they hold a lot of sway and power within the Landsraad. So, in the spirit of how we created a house initially, what is the house major that House Jabberwock and your other rival strive for to try to curry favor with? What is the name and what is it about this particular house major that gives them control over Jabberwock?
I mean, could we just pick Atreides?
Well, no, because they already control a world, and most of them don't have additional holdings. The only exceptions would be the Harkonnens. They have a fief in Lanky Vale, they have Gidi Prime, and then they have the governorship, the Sirdar fief of the Arrakis, where they mine the spice. Caladan just holds Caladan. House Atreides holds Caladan.
I say make it juicy. Why not make it that the house major, the current person running it, is Daphne's mother's brother-in-law. He married Daphne's mother's sister, who died mysteriously shortly thereafter, and he ascended to the throne.
That is pretty juicy. I like it.
Okay, so Daphne's uncle. Okay. come up with that later. What is the name of the house? Since we're going with Jabberwock, House Carol, are we continuing on a theme here?
Actually, Tony's asking if the audience can vote on some of this. So,
Sure.
chat, what should we
By all
call the
means.
rival house? If it's too silly, we will deny you, but we will laugh.
House Giggle
Snicker
Bottom.
Snack House.
Denied.
I mean,
Also
to-
not laughing.
To be fair, I would like to point out, dear viewers, that we've been going off of Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Because we are.
House.
If it wasn't
Yes.
already obvious,
Yes,
House
Yes,
Cheshire.
however, these are our enemies. They shouldn't get to fit the theme. Because we're going to kill
Not
them.
necessarily. The house major doesn't necessarily have to be an enemy.
Oh, they are if
they-
we go with the plan that I just discussed.
Oh, okay.
They assassinated Daphne's
They're in
aunt.
your way.
Or my mom killed her.
I mean-
gasp.
She's a shady bitch.
Apparently.
Tony Karlstrom is suggesting Drunenbar, which I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, Drunenbar.
Haberdasher.
Okay, you can go with Drunenbar if you like it, unless there's any objections or
There's
Let's
House
give them a minute
Haberdasher.
to see what else comes up.
Yeah.
Haverdash.
House-
Oh, that's a good name.
House Tweedles.
While we're waiting to see if anybody gives us any other ideas, if we do want to follow the theme and they are going to be our enemies, what's a good synonym for hearts? Or red?
Yeah,
Corazon in Spanish.
Corazon. Yeah, House Corazon. So all good choices.
So Corazon or Drunenbar? I actually really
Those
like
two?
Drunenbar. That's a cool name.
I was gonna say like
Drunenbar.
that's spot on, Tony.
My
right, Tony, you
question
win.
is, what does it mean?
Just a cool name.
Eh.
It means Drunenbar.
Yeah.
Your rivals, by the way,
Drunenbar is Drunenbar.
the your rival minor house that are I'm just gonna tell you what I rolled. They're essentially jealous of you, and that's why they have a rivalry with House Cheshire. But your rival house is House of Cardes, Ophkarrdes.
Could you put that in chat?
That's a fun name.
I'll put it in chat here for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's your rival house. A couple minor things regarding rules. A couple things I missed initially. Specifically, the succeeding at cost. In this game, if you get no successes, generally you fail, but in some instances, you don't necessarily have to fail outright. If it's something very trivial or whatever, and we just need to get through this, we can say, yeah, you succeed at cost, but you garner a complication of some sort. So you get a good outcome, but at the same time, there's some sort of a problem there that arose. That's really it for that one. And then there's the challenging of your drive. So normally, if you have a statement next to one of your drives, and that drive is being used to perform an action, that's fine. If it doesn't contradict the action that's taking place, then it should work just fine. It doesn't. You proceed as normal. However, if the statement of that drive somehow contradicts the action of that skill test, a challenge occurs. That's when I offer you a determination point. If you refuse the determination point, you fail the skill test with no further consequences. If, however, you accept the determination point, you must challenge or comply with your drive statement. In both cases, they use the chosen drive and make that skill test as normal. But afterwards, if you complied, you receive a complication. If you challenged it, you put a line through that drive and you have to put in another one. You have to change or recover it for the use of that drive in the future. In other words, it's basically like if you say, if you have something tied to faith and it's like only God is allowed to kill, let's say you're playing a soup doctor or something, and you actually go through and murder somebody. Well, that goes completely against that drive of yours. So I, as a GM, would offer you a determination point, and you can take it in return for crossing out that drive, and now your character has changed. You have to create a new drive under that portion. You're no longer the same person that you were because you've crossed the boundary that you've had previously. So does that make sense, everybody? Any questions regarding that?
That's a really cool system.
Yeah, I thought so too. All right. So without further ado, we shall continue where we left off. I believe it was Norma, Davos, and William that were in the room with Lyra. And Norma had spotted what normally would have been impossible to notice, a needle mark on Lyra's body. I'm gonna play some music here in just a second. Here's Tyler.
Go for it.
All right. So the three of you were in that room. Davos had secured a palm lock after picking the lock for the other palm lock and basically sealed the three of you inside. Only he can be allowed to open the door and leave now. There's only one way in and out of this room.
So this is the room with the murdered girl, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's me.
It doesn't look like a tussle took place on an easy scan. It doesn't look like anything really happened here. But she's judging by, the flies that are buzzing over her head. She's probably been dead for at least a day.
Ooh.
Well, we know who didn't do it. It wasn't Benabuya. Thanks for the subscription.
You're in the room with this dead girl. You're not sure of the significance of this, but according to Norma, Byron was trying to get a hold of this one of his workers, and apparently the reason why he wasn't able to get a hold of anybody is because she's dead. She's been dead for some time.
Does it look like she died here?
It does.
Where did you say that the puncture wound was?
Lower back. You can make William. You can make a understand check. Pick your drive to see if you can garner any additional information.
Can my ability to control my metabolism to a supreme level with Pranabindu conditioning help? An extremely fine sense of smell, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah.
And second, espionage focus help, because this is an assassination, since it was a needle that did it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Just to make sure we get some good details, let's start it off right. I'm going to buy a D20 from you for a threat. You're all welcome. Oh. Almost a 20 on the third dice. But both the other two rolled under 7, which means that's 4 successes.
Jesus. Okay, that's really good. I'm going to say that's right on the money, though, because this is a very, very difficult to find poison.
I figured it would be,
You've recognized this because you've used this yourself at times. This is something called Parmabat. When you are exposed to it, you lose limbic control, and what follows is loss of internal organ control. No known antidotes. Would you like to use some of the momentum that you gained from the last game to get additional information?
Yes.
Okay. This is used predominantly by Botani assassins who use this poison to paralyze and murder their victims. Botani assassins, however, haven't been seen in a very, very long time.
That's ominous.
Do you share this with the class?
These two? Yes.
Okay.
I trust Davos and Norma, so I will share with them.
Based answer tells you that this woman was
All of
poisoned
it.
by a professional.
Including how I know.
What do you do with this information currently while you're in the room?
Well, now we need to search more because this person was killed by a defunct assassin. Came back.
I got a side question from two people, so I'm going to answer it out loud because maybe the audience is curious too. How does 2 dice become 4 successes so easily if your focus applies to the roll? That means if you roll at or under the points you have in the skill, it's double. So unlike Conan, it's not just a 1 or a 2. In my case, understand was 7. So when Eric allowed me to use my espionage focus and attach it to understand, and I rolled a 6 and a 4, those both doubled. That's how that happened.
Yep. That's excellent. You're looking around some more. You're trying to get some other clues in the room, and that's when you hear a rattling at the door, and like a coming from the palm lock on the outside that you disabled previously. You hear like a hola. Somebody's trying to get into the door. The maintenance staff is coming around to clean the room again. Uh-oh. Back to Daphne and Lysander and Pardo. You were being led out of the gambling hall by the man who self-identified as Byron Salemi, the so-called potential contact that you have at the Pleasure Palace. As he strides out, he makes a motion to one of his 2 bookends, who then makes this sort of gesture to the dealer at the table. He switches off the light, leaves, packs everything up, and takes off. Byron, if you can imagine, I imagined him as a short, balding guy with spidery eyes, black spidery eyes. I imagine I can't think of the actor's name, but the little weasel from Princess Bride, you know? Switch the cups on you. That guy.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Wallace.
Precisely. That's
Better
why
Dave.
I imagine as this character.
Better Dave tossing subscriptions around. Thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you, sir. He leads you out of the gambling hall, and he starts leading you to what seems to be a large office, his office. There's a palm lock on that one too, and a couple, just like a lot of the other rooms and suites in the Pleasure Palace. There's like 2 different sets of lights, like a yellow one and a red one. He opens the palm lock easily. The door swishes open, and he walks inside. He has a large console desk with lots of Redulian paper sheets sprawled over top of it. You don't have to have a critical eye to notice that the documents that he has splayed all over his desk are financial ledgers of some sort. His desk is interesting though because there seems to be some sort of a solido projector built into it. It's sort of like has like a large concave area on the very front, and it's made so that you can put a little Redulian crystal inside, and it'll project whatever information is contained inside that crystal. Currently, it's all covered up through the paperwork, but he takes a seat behind his desk. He's like, please, have a seat. Yes. And he motions for his 2 bookends to come inside and shut the door behind them. Do you all take seats in front of the desk, or do you stand? Prefer to stand? Or
I definitely stand.
Yes, I will make myself comfortable taking a seat right in front of the desk.
How about Pardo?
I think Pardo would stand.
You can roll understand, sure.
Roll
He's a smarmy kind of person. Oh, did we lose somebody?
I think he was saying he would stand.
Pardo would stand, but I will also roll to understand. I don't know for what, but I'll do it.
Understand why you won't
Usually
sit.
used for perception.
Why would one sit down?
Arms always at his side. Pardo just kind of walks in and stands there, and the one guard is like, well, "This one doesn't look right. He doesn't want to sit down." Okay, they kind of cross their arms.
Very
you do
slowly
notice.
glance at them and turn my attention back.
You can roll your understand to see if you notice something, any particular details about the guards or the room or Byron himself. I give it to Daphne previously that she noticed that despite his demeanor, his smarmy demeanor, Byron seems a bit nervous having seen you, and he's like, oh, but he did mention to you that you look just like her before he started to motion for you to follow him. Pardo, you notice that, and so do you, Lysander, that both of these guards appear to have like curved-looking swords at their side. They look mostly for play, but then when you're this close to one, you look at it, they're not fake. On the other side of their belts, they have stunners, which are basically just like pistols, but non-lethal. Obviously, they'll just stun you or knock you out. And they both are standing at the doorway waiting for Byron to continue. And he's like, my Lady D, you're much too young, I feel, to be a sister. Maybe you're a cousin. How are you related, exactly?
You flatter me. I am my mother's daughter.
She's your mother. Interesting. I didn't know. Huh. Celeste is a very popular consort these days, you know. What brings you here? Did she send you, perhaps? And that's when he kind of like leans back behind his desk and seems to be like, reaching for different things underneath his desk, like different contraptions and papers and stuff.
Oh, this guy's picking all my bad senses, so I don't think I want to tell him everything.
That's
Did
fine.
we resolve Key's roll? Because
Roll, which
Key
had two
got a crit.
successes.
He rolled a 1.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay. You notice that when Byron's shuffling around on the desk, like looking for stuff, he notices that what he actually has on his desk, and he almost like occludes it from view. Like he sees your eyes on it, and he turns it over immediately. Like he tries to push it out of sight.
Thank you for the sub, Great Cthulhu.
Oh no, we've attracted Cthulhu's attention.
As
what is
long
your
as you're
business
already
here,
following one of
exactly?
the other gods, you're fine.
What is your business here exactly, Lady D? Did Celeste send you? She's no longer here, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's a shame. Do you know where she is?
No, not at all. Roll me. Anybody here can roll understand.
it's a lion sack of
Communicate.
shit.
Yeah. I.
Oh, wow, I got a 9 and a 4.
Oh, that sounds good. Okay.
My understanding is an 8. If social awareness or house politics apply, those are my
Yes.
focuses.
One of them definitely does. Yeah, you know this guy's lying. He's trying very hard to not seem like lying, but he's holding. Well, it's hard to say that he's lying about what he just said, but he's definitely holding something back. That's for sure. He's
Did
not being
I-
straight with you, and he's definitely trying to get something out of you. He's trying to get some information from you. Is this a
Really?
social call?
This establishment is so well run. It seems difficult to believe that you would lose track of people in your employ so easily.
Oh,
Certainly,
well,
she must have
she was
left a forwarding address of some kind.
Celeste elected to leave my employ. I believe she got a better offer from a nobleman, no less.
Really? Which house?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, well then I suppose I'll have to make my own inquiries.
Yes, I suppose if you had any questions, Lyra would know where she would, I would imagine. If she ever opens her door. Can you check on that? And he points to one of his bookends and kind of like nods and opens the door. And see, like, he goes into like the little PA system and he's like, Lyra. And you all hear a voice coming from like a little sound system above, like it's secure. It's obviously somebody from security, like, hey, open up the door. You know, Byron wants to talk to you. This is your second warning. Meanwhile, the door, and that's when the guard catches what's going on. He hears someone down the hall coming at him like, "Hey, I can't open this door." He's like, "Sir, I think we have a problem with the door to Lyra's room." "Well, go deal with it," he says. He's the guard's like, okay. Turns around, starts walking out. The other one goes to turn and leave, and he's like, "No, you stay." He says. Byron points at him. The door shuts behind him. Or you hear this commotion taking place outside. The three of you, Gwillian, Norma, and Davos. You hear more like something wrong with this door. What are you doing?
I'm saying thanks for the follow, Mr. Morden81.
Does is there a balcony to this one, like a one that you can step out on?
No, not this one. This one's curious to you because it's like right on the corner, and it's different from the Imperial suites that you have, which is also on the corner, but on like I guess you want to say the outside corner, which links up to that garden. This one is not. This one faces out.
Davos.
So it doesn't have any windows or anything fancy like that.
Davos. I'm here. I turn around, I look at the bed, I turn back around. I'm her. I open the door. Yes, I'm busy. What do you want?
Davos uses the palm lock, slides open. All right, give me. This is a deception check.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
it is.
So give me a communications.
And I will use either infiltration or body control if you allow.
Sure.
And I'm going to call this truth for a drive because I want to know what the hell's going on.
How do you appear dressed to the guard who opens the door? Do you just
same
take
as
off
she
the clothes
was
to match the body?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can have
Door
another
slides
threat.
open, the
You
guard's
can
like,
have
"Oh,
another threat. I don't want to screw this up.
Okay.
Oh. A 1, a 2, and an 11. That's 4 successes again.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and give yourself a couple, 2 points of momentum.
Okay.
You see, he's like, excuse me. Byron's calling for you. He has guests.
Ah, excellent. Let him know I'll be there momentarily.
Certainly. Goes and turns, and you see the clean lady behind him is like, I need to clean. Can you
Clearly, I have more important
15
things to
minutes?
do. You'll have to come back later. Slam.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna get a
Lock.
for this. Okay. Cool. Very well done. You smoothed that one over. All right. So you send the guard back to Byron. You see Byron is getting impatient as the guard is taking a little bit longer, and he's like, "What's taking so long? Excuse me, Lady D." He starts walking out of the room. You stay here with them, he says.
As soon as the cleaning lady and the guard are gone, I'm like, we're gone, and we leave. Like we were never there.
Oh, yes.
Back to our
Excellent. So yeah, people were like filing out of the room. Byron's heading out.
Quick take a sample, see if we can, swipe a little bit of the area of the wound to check the poison.
Okay. Oh, I already got that.
Sample?
If you want a
did?
sample,
Okay,
we can, but I got the exact poison and the poisoner. At least their homeworld.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right,
Eric,
so you
Eric told us
exit that one.
it
Did you have
was.
any possessions on her at the time?
No, she was stark naked on the bed. Her
Oh.
regular possessions, like her things, her personal effects, are still in the room.
Yeah, there was clothes laid out like she was about to get dressed.
Kind of want to take something randomly from the room.
Take
Sure.
clothes.
Yeah, I'll take something randomly from the room. I don't know what yet.
For the Bene Gesserit,
Okay.
the poison was Parmabat, and it was Batani assassins who have not been seen in a long time.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm just
You leave
Right.
you start making your way out, and grab something on the way out, like an article. Byron is impatient leaving the room. He's like, excuse me, I'll be right back. And he starts leaving. The guard is kind of torn between following his boss and paying attention to you, but he's like, seems kind of distracted. He's looking out the door. Any one of you want to do anything while you're semi alone in the room at the moment?
As the guard's distracted, can I flip that piece of paper over from earlier?
Yes, you
Read
can.
it.
Yep. Simple understand check to look at it and go, oh, I know what this is.
understand
any data
with
pads or anything? Oh, sorry.
Whatever piques your curiosity. Whatever makes sense for your character's drive. Truth, perhaps?
truth would make sense right now, yeah. And I would
Probably
like
have
to
some momentum if you want to buy a die or two.
Now, I have a reason for why I'd like to do this. Can I get another die in exchange for threat?
Well, hold on. Are we doing
Yes,
individual
you can always.
momentum, Eric, or are we
But-
doing group momentum?
No. Group momentum.
I just
asked
put two.
this because
I just
each
put two
time
in the-
I buy a threat on an understand check, I also get bonus momentum to spend to figure out the best ways to hurt people.
That's
So,
if you're torturing
yeah.
them and interrogating them, yeah. Twisted Mantats, man. Okay, so yeah, you already have some momentum built up because the rolls have been incredible, and we're just starting.
Oh yeah, but does his thing
You could
apply
use
here?
Some.
Does his power apply
no,
here?
that's just-
Oh, okay.
No, not that one.
Yeah, you should
When-
use
That's
the
like
momentum.
if you were trying to find ways to make Byron sing under a lamp with like a scalpel, then yes.
It just says any understand check. Like as written, I get bonus momentum. But if
Oh,
it doesn't
really?
apply here, it doesn't apply here. Yeah, just as written, it's any understand check. I get bonus momentum.
I'll revisit it later. For now,
But
we'll
for
say
now,
no,
no.
but you could use the momentum that you have, yeah.
Alrighty.
What is our current momentum? Because I remember volunteering to track that.
2 for tonight. Plus, what did we have last week, Eric?
5.
You had like
So,
4 or something like that. So
I used
maximum
1.
6, of course, but...
So we're back at 6. If Key uses 1, we're down to 5.
Cool, thank you.
That is 1 success.
One success is enough. It's not. This isn't too Byzantine to understand. You look at it, and these are obviously financial ledgers, but their history is the most important part. When you start scrolling through them, and I'm like, huh. He took a huge dive over the last couple years, financially, and then all of a sudden, there was a huge boost very, very recently.
So I take the paper, I hand it to. I put it in view of Lady Daphne. Point it out real quick. Put it back on the desk.
Okay. Yeah, you
Go
just
back
kinda
to where
flip
I
it
was
over and
standing.
Leave it for them to look at. Yeah. You see, eventually Byron meets up with the other guard as he's heading back, and he's like, "What's taking her so long?" She's getting ready. She'll be out shortly. Okay. Let me go back and talk to this lady. And he kind of leans in and says something to him. The guard just nods. And it's like, "Well, she's taking her time, but if you want to talk to her and find out more about your family, you can go talk to her right down the hall on the right-hand side. Can't miss her. She's on a corner."
I appreciate that so much. I hope we have a
Of
chance
course.
to get better acquainted during my stay.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy the
Indeed.
pleasure palace.
I'm sure I will.
he kind of grins through his teeth, like, and he like makes eye contact with his guards, like, watch that.
We don't know that they went to that office, do they? The other 3 of us.
Unless
Daphne
he's
would
specifically
have.
communicated with each other.
Daphne would have at least told you her plan to be, I'm going to go to the casino and attract a whole bunch of attention.
Okay.
Yeah, you knew that much, and that she was purposely trying to get a hold of the proprietor, in this case, Byron.
Either way, I would.
He's like,
If I saw you try to go find her, I'd stop you and counsel we wait and only mention this in the privacy of our own room that we've bug swept. We don't want to walk into the casino and start talking about finding dead bodies.
Oh no, I would just kind of like motion to her to like don't go in that room, come back.
Oh, got it.
yeah, it's a good call, actually.
Where
do you go
yeah,
after the room? Do you go,
Uh,
or sorry, when you? I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Daphne has no reason not to go straight to what she's been told is Lyra's room.
Locked.
So,
Knock
I
on the
will
door, no answer.
Well,
definitely bring Lysander and Pardo with me.
I believe Sean was saying Davos would be lurking somewhere to intercept her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
gotcha.
convenient.
And not even like say anything, just kind of catch her eye and just be like, "You need to don't go that way."
Lose your caboose this way.
He walks right in front of her as she's heading over to the door, and it's like, "Walk with me. Don't go that way. Go with me."
My lady, I
Real
believe
subtle.
they are serving cheese sandwiches back in the room.
Oh, I do enjoy cheese sandwiches.
You
Just don't eat the spice cake,
Imperial
lady.
Sweets.
Yes, I would avoid the space cakes.
Oh, thank you for the warning.
Do you reconvene at the little suite that you're in, or do you go elsewhere?
It's the only place I
Celeste
would trust
supposedly
to
had
talk.
a room here.
Yeah, the room,
the
our
suite's
room's
been bug
swept,
swept.
so yeah.
Yes, but Lysander took care of that last time, if you recall.
Right, that's what we're
None of
saying.
those
That's why we
combis
would
or
do it in
pumpkins.
our room, not
okay.
somewhere else.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suggest double checking because none of us stayed in the room.
Sure, I'll check
Good
again.
check
Valid.
again. Do another sweep. Understand rolls just to notice.
got the highest
how it might be
understand?
you're looking for.
I think that might be me.
Do you have a really high drive statement you can attach to it for this?
Protecting my
Well,
house
I-
is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, you should break the
I
rule
mean,
then.
or we can just
Norma can help.
we can just
'cause I think
burn a
Norma's
hyper awareness. I mean,
Yeah, I
it
was just
costs
gonna say.
momentum, but we don't. It's not like we don't have momentum to burn.
You good with
Sure.
that, Key?
And then
do
it's
that.
just I burn the hype or burn the momentum. We ask the question: is our room bugged or is it still safe?
I'm good with that. Key's good with that.
Yeah. At least we know
Do
for
it.
sure.
Cool.
So how much
So is our
momentum does
room
that
still
cost?
Safe? 1.
So now we're down to 4.
So Eric, is our room bugged or not?
No new bugs are in the room. No, as far as you
Okay.
can tell, like Lysander took care of the security apparatuses in here, so it's free. You're free to speak however you like. You don't have to talk in code or anything like that.
My lady, why were you going to that room?
I was directed by the rather unctuous Byron. The woman we're supposed to meet, that he was supposed to connect me with, has apparently moved on to bigger and better things.
You could say that. In one
She's
way.
dead. She was
He has
assassinated.
definitely moved on.
She was
Celeste is
assassinated. She was assassinated by Parmabot, by an Apatani assassin.
And that's when you come to realize, like, the room that you were just in belongs to a woman named Lyra, that Byron referred to as Lyra, which is not the same person that you were told to deliver the box to. The person you're supposed to deliver the box to is the Celeste.
No,
woman.
the person whose
That was
room
the
you
one.
were heading to, that woman is dead.
Ah,
That's
Assassinated.
Lyra.
It's Lyra, yeah.
now I have to wonder if Byron was trying to have me killed as well.
I'm not sure
She
he
had
knew
been dead
because
for
they
quite
sent
some
people.
time.
I'm not sure he knew because they sent people to check. I had to take her face to get them to move along.
So, the one link to Celeste that we have is dead, and Celeste appears to have left Byron's employ rapidly. He claims she is working for another nobleman, but I've got my doubts on that one.
She's been dead for some time too, as Norma said.
So, who killed Lyra, and why, and where is Celeste?
One more
Roll
question.
understand. You may roll understand if you wish to make a mentat computation.
Mentat computation. Computating time.
Mhm.
Do. I'll go truth here.
Beep, boop.
Not my best, but I don't think any of my other statements would apply here. Do. That is 2 successes.
You were sent here to deliver something to this lady Celeste. Each one of these consorts at the Pleasure Palace has their own individual suite. However, she left Byron's employ some time ago. The only person who knew anything about her, or where she may have gone, is dead, meaning somebody else is here for the same reasons, perhaps, that you are, or to find or make contact with this woman, whoever she may be, or whatever she may be to the Duchess, as it were. Obviously, somebody of importance for this delivery to encounter this sort of situation. But obviously, Lyra knew something about her whereabouts, and whoever killed her was likely came here for similar purposes, or at least at the very least trying to find her. If that's the case, there may be something left behind either in Lyra's room or Celeste's old room before she vacated. Norma, you have some insider information about your quarry. Would you like to use that information or share that information?
Hold on.
Thanks for the follow, Spetter Dave.
Yeah, I suppose I can share some of that information.
You know
Such
that you'd
as,
have to keep some of this very close to the vest, given your mission.
Oh yes, certain things like in relation to me personally, they would not know. I would just inform them of, a better picture as to who Celeste is.
What do you tell them exactly?
So I explained that Celeste goes by Kiara, and is actually
Kyra.
Or Kyra, sorry, and is chimeric, and explains that the fact that this person actually has both sets of genitalia, so they are trained, but can be male and female, and has a little bit of sisterhood training, but they are not actually who they... I'm not explaining to the lady that this is her father, though.
Okay.
What?
Wait,
Yes.
Nothing. You didn't hear that. That's character player knowledge only.
This was not spoken to you, child.
Okay.
You don't know that you're looking for daddy.
Who?
So to speak. So, Norma elects to share information about Celeste specifically, that she's trained by the Bene Gesserit. One thing you know, Norma, is that no one ever really leaves the sisterhood. And oftentimes, if a sister is in need or needs to convey or leave information behind, they can always do so in very clandestine ways. You know many ways to do that. You suspect there might be a way that there may be, if there's something that was left behind, you would imagine you would either find it in Lyra's room or in Celeste's, more than likely.
Do you remember seeing anything like that laying around when we went into Lyra's room?
From the thorough enough check that you did at Lyra's room, more than likely not.
Okay. Well, then I'm checking out Celeste's room later.
I'll say though that Davos randomly grabs something on the way out of Lyra's room, and it happens to be just like a small book that she had on the bookshelf. But when you flip through the pages, you realize that a lot of them are blank. So it's like a very sort of stylized diary or journal. And as you're just kind of flipping through it, you catch one of the last entries that you find detail a foppish noble with a weird way of speaking came looking for Celeste, and she warned her about him. Specifically, this particular noble was from the Imperial court, meaning Kaitane.
Good random book pull.
Don't know who it is. She doesn't detail who it is, but there's something about his demeanor that she didn't like, and she warned Celeste about this nobleman in particular. How would you like to proceed?
So do we actually know where Celeste's room was, or
No.
did we not? Okay.
Can I recommend a course of action for you, Norma?
Sure.
Go all in on your role. Find the noble, seduce him, get the information, kill him. Be the Bene Gesserit.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that one. Let's see, what would that be? A good bit of hyper awareness to be able to figure out who it is.
You don't have too many details to go by. You just have the account that's in the journal. The only other person who might know is Byron himself. Ew.
Ew.
You can deal with Byron this
You
time.
could probably get him to talk, though.
Well, yeah, I can easily get him to talk. Just having to talk to him. Ugh. Feels slimy just
Yeah.
mentioning it.
It's up to you.
Oh, let's have a quick chat with him. With Byron.
Okay. Do you go by yourself? I'm imagining.
Yes, because I want him to drop his guard. Because, like I said, I am not Bene Gesserit garbed up right now. So, I want him to drop his guard in front of me. I'm going to flip the charm switch for a minute so that he will kind of drop the guard, let people out of the room, and then I'm going to totally just make him tell me things.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a communication to see if you can entice him with words, and then from there, if you want to use voice, that's a whole nother thing.
Yes,
but,
voice. So
you would imagine you first have to get rid of his two bookends because he doesn't go anywhere without them.
okay, so like I said, I'm trying to do this as seduction at first, so that he wants to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
So so let's see.
What we could do is start a fight near a bar that requires those bookends to leave, because he does send those bookends out when the situation demands it.
True.
And if he's in the middle of
That's a
something,
good idea, actually.
he's probably not going to want to stop.
True.
So,
So get them out on the floor like that, and I would be showing him at the bar with drink in hand so that I can kind of start fawning over him, and then when he has to send them
Sure.
out, I can manage to pull him aside for a little bit. Take him away for a short trip away.
I can start the bar fight.
Oh yeah,
Just
that's
lurk.
easy.
I'll just lurk in the bar for a minute. Watch to see who the two most jealous guys in the bar are. When their dates leave to refresh themselves or whatever, take the face. Obviously, flirt and make out with some other dude in the bar for both of them and then leave.
Yeah. Okay, you go to the bar, and yeah, that's not difficult to do here. There's a bunch of drunks sitting at the bars, and you just shape change it to somebody else, and you Yeah, you accidentally spill a drink on somebody, and it's like, what the hell? Like, you get somebody eye her up, and they try to like start something with you, and you easily just outmaneuver them. They're drunk off their ass, and you just slam them on the tabletop, and you see a bunch of the guards like come in like, hey, what's going on over here? They start wandering over from Byron's
I don't want to
office.
use myself. I'm gonna find a jealous boyfriend, take the face of his girlfriend when the girlfriend's in the powder room, and make out with someone in front of him, and then disappear when he starts beating up the other guy. So we are uninvolved.
Okay, that's pretty in depth. All right.
It's on brand for
I'm
me.
just gonna say that works. Yeah, pretty much. Not a problem. There's a lot of like, what the hell just happened? And like, hey, come here. There's a lot of fisticuffs being thrown at the bar, and a lot of commotion. Eventually, you see as you slip out, Norma moves in, gets into position as Byron's guards begin to leave the office in response to what's going on. You see them jogging like down the ways, and Byron's like, what the hell's going on today? And like going through his stuff on his desk. I'm imagining that's when you like make your way into his office or something and just like slip in and start talking to him.
Oh yeah, slip in, drink in hand. I initially start out with the slurring kind of sound like I'm just an easy mark for him, and get it so that I start to understand the way he understands intonation, because I'm not able to just immediately throw the voice up. But once I check around, make sure that we're alone, that there's no listening devices, I immediately go throw up where was Celeste's apartment? What is the passcode? And just start forcing him to give me my information.
Dr. Fusion 72 is giving you momentum to add a d20 to the roll.
Oh,
nice.
Thank you.
It's not that good at this, so yeah, it's not gonna be difficult. You just need to beat a 1 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 dice. Don't pull a Devin.
He's just like,
it's more than just
aren't
3
you
dice.
something?
So let's see.
Who are you?
That is a 4, and that is an 11, and that counts too. So that is 2, but can use espionage as a focus, so that'd be 4 successes total.
Jesus. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you
So we
get 3
just-
momentum.
That's
Back to full
before
again.
voice.
That brings the
That's
momentum
before
back to
voice.
6, Rachel.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, you get his attention right off the bat. You catch him off guard as the door shuts behind you. He kind of looks up and sees you there. Instead, it's like, well, hello there. Who are you exactly? Is that drink for me?
It's for you, yes. You're such a nice looking fellow with your a pretty head.
Devin is very bad at flirting.
Do you want to use voice to coerce him to giving you the information, or is this?
Oh
like,
yes, straight up coercion into giving him.
So
your head.
So when you do that, you actually give me threat, and you can choose if you want to give
yes.
me 1, 2, or 3 threat.
I'm gonna go with 2.
2. Okay. Wow, I got a lot of threat built up. All right. So you're just like, tell me where Celeste's room is, how to get in. Show me. And he's just like, he takes a deep breath and swallows, and he gets up and he's like, motions to the door, opens it up. So it's leading you down to where the room is. The guards are distracted because of the fight taking place in the bar. You go down a ways in the opposite direction of where Lyra's room is, and around the other side there's a suite, big suite, where there's sounds of fun play taking place beyond the closed doors. He uses the palm lock, and the door opens up immediately, and you interrupt the orgy that is currently taking place, and he's like, get out! And a bunch of people are like, oh my goodness, I'm writing you a bad Yelp review, whatever. Like, they start leaving the suite, And as the door is shut behind you, it's now just you and Byron in Celeste's old room. Who are you people? You're with the you're one of the witches, aren't you? You're with the Sisterhood?
Yes, which is why you should answer all of my questions quickly.
We need to get you
It's
a
like
voice
switching around
generator so you
nervously.
can make the sound when you
I
do
know.
We
I
need to
know.
get that, yeah. You see, the room is kind of, strewn because of the recent activity, but you can give me understand and any additional hyper awareness stuff that you want to use to spot where any possible hidden messages may be located.
All right. Let's see. That's a 4 and a 9, so that is 2 successes.
Excellent. Normally for anybody this would be difficult to find, but because it's you, because you're trained to look for these things, you do find something in this faux fireplace off to the side of the suite. You look at it initially and there's nothing remarkable about it, but it's once you start reaching inside along the wall, you start feeling these bumps. And you know these bumps, you've used them before. These are coded dots. You start reading what the dots say. The lion beckons with a golden opportunity. I walk into its den to protect my children. It is an oppressive garden, predecessor to Arrakis, successor to Salusa for the Zensuni. You may want to write that down.
Yeah, I feel like that should be written down in its entirety.
Yeah, could I get that
Me
again, please?
paste it.
Yeah,
Words?
can I get? Yeah, can that just go to
Somebody
chat?
words.
Because oh man,
Yep,
that was
that's exactly where it's going.
words.
There you go. Lion beckons with golden opportunity. I walk into its den to protect my children. It is an oppressive garden, predecessor to Arrakis, successor to Salusa for the Zensuni. It's a riddle, and you're like, huh? She's trying to convey a message. This was her last message to the Sisterhood, presumably. Byron, while you're doing this, you hear sounds in the room as Byron is like looking around nervously and trying to slink out of the room. How do you react?
You leave when I do. Wait.
You see, he just
I look-
stays by the door. He's sweating. You finish your business, and he's like, well, I don't know what you're doing in here, but this was her old room, okay? I don't know what happened to her. He's lying. That much you can tell. Especially given the state that he's in right now, I'm going to say he's shaken because of the use of the voice. So it reduces the difficulty to tell whether he's lying to like nil.
Okay.
He's not telling you something.
What aren't you saying?
You try to like coerce
I'm
the
gonna straight
information
up-
out of him.
I'm gonna straight up coerce him. Like I'm going to do that whole entire. One finger is just going to slowly trail up his chest, going up to his chin. The nails scratching
I told
right
her.
as it goes along.
She took that nobleman's offer. She left. And all of a sudden, my business wasn't doing so good. But I knew something. I knew something they didn't know. Because people around here, they get to talking, you know. Lyra, well, she told me everything. She told me she was royalty, right? How Siasi had enemies in high places. House Moritani, well, they wanted to know. So as soon as I found out something, I gave them everything that I knew. I told them that she was here. She'd been hiding out. They gave me Solaris for it. Let me just write these names down for you.
I believe Tony's about to give you a threat, Eric. Let's see you drop it in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Just when he says, actually, do you know anything? Do you have house politics or imperial politics?
Yes, I do.
On their
I
understanding?
have house politics.
Roll that.
All right. So that is house politics with understanding, and what do you want as the other one? Truth.
This would be whatever makes sense for your character. This is actual knowledge that you would know just because the Bene Gesserit is so entrenched in imperial and Landsraad politics. Like you would know which houses he's actually referring to. Like, oh, he's referring to this house who disappeared, or this house who's allied with this house.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And that is 1, but I have understanding there, so that's 2 successes because I have house politics.
You've heard of House Iasi. They're actually a defeated house. They were defeated in a war of assassins with House Moritani. House Moritani, by the way, is a great house, which you know is allied with other great houses of the Landsraad. You start putting together the facts that Celeste was actually Kyra. Kyra was actually a royalty of this House Iasi, which was defeated, and she was hiding out here. And Byron came to find out, and when the business started to take a dive, he sold her out to her old enemies of House Moritani, and they came looking. Now everything's starting to crystallize in your mind. He's like, can you let me go now, please?
Perhaps. But first, you're going to owe me a favor for your life.
Whatever you say, just leave me out. Just leave me out of it.
I will come for it later. Go.
Turns around, weaselly ass self just runs out of the room. Guards! He yells.
Knew that was gonna happen. Knew it. I walk out of the room and just walk away.
You're fast walking back to the suite. Yeah, you all hear a flutter of activity out in the hallways. People like booted feet, like running down the hall and shit. Eventually, Norma shows up to the door. How much do you share, or what do you say when you get back? Are you just like, we need to go now, or do you are you not worried about it at all and start regaling them with the details?
I regale them with a short telling of details so that we get the gist of it. He sold her out.
Celeste is gone. Shit, we're all in trouble. We gotta go.
Celeste is gone. He's a dirtbag. Yada yada yada. William, we might kill him later.
How do you all react to this?
Seems like I need to make a call.
Zero's right outside waiting for you with his small fleet of purple ground cars.
Yeah, I'll just text him we're coming down.
You message him on the communinet and you're like, hey, I hope you're still around. He's like, we need a quick getaway. Anything for you, he says.
Oh no, this is terrible.
Oh no, we're going to get totally not betrayed.
Not safe. And I need you to not try and escape my eye this time, please.
What, me?
From the corner. From the corner, you hear Gwillian chuckle, and he says very quietly, "But can she escape from your other eye?"
Gasp.
You start heading out to go to jump into Zero's cars, as it were, I imagine.
Yeah, unless anybody has any objection to leaving immediately.
I do.
Are you moving subtly or are you moving boldly? Are you bolting out of there, or are you trying to slink your way around?
You said you object to moving quick, getting out of here?
I'm gonna take on a random face and stick around and observe what happens here.
Okay.
Who's interested in the body? What interesting things do I see that are out of the ordinary? I will catch up to you. Send me a signal of your location.
And Would there be some way for me to get an asset that would be an explosive device that I would offer to Gwillian to place in Byron's office?
You can buy those with momentum.
Momentum, yes, you can.
I like to
It'll,
buy
it'll work
plastic
just for the
explosives,
current
please.
scene. You're
That's
like,
correct, Sean.
No, that's funny.
if it makes sense for your character to have it, he is a twisted mentat, so it would make sense for him to have like deadly implements
At my disposal.
at his fingertips. Precisely. Or
And
either
when
him
you
or the
hand it
spy
to me,
master,
what do you
would
tell
have
me it's
something
for?
like
Place this in Byron's office. He has made it clear that he will be a threat later.
Oh. So you want it done loudly. I see. I pull the buckle off my belt, test the needle I was going to use, take your explosives.
If you'd like to take him out quietly, you may, but it might benefit us to send a message.
I agree. Thank you.
Oh my! All right. So that's the other thing too. Norma is because Gamont is situated where it is. The Mauritani are not very far away, so they and their allies, their minor houses, have dominion over this sector. So you're technically within striking distance of this particular house that presumably sent this assassin to find Celeste.
Yeah, I like
You,
your C4 explosives.
Wait, are explosives in violation of Canley? I feel like that's a very important question to ask. Wait.
Explosives are not in violation of Canley if they don't know that you're here. And also, Byron is not of House Mauritania or any of the minor houses that you know of.
Okay.
He's just some schmuck who runs the Pleasure Palace. So if you blow him up, no one cries.
It's not violation if we don't get caught.
Precisely. And also, the only real explosives that are banned by the Great Convention are the atomics. That's pretty much it. So Gwillian takes the explosive, he puts on a random face, and he slips out to go infiltrate that acid into Byron's office. Is that correct?
That's the side mission, yes. My primary mission is I'm going to watch
Observance.
quietly because they're going to find the body. I'm going to check the room. I'm watching for who's watching to see the results of their own hit. I'm looking for the assassin or his messengers or her messengers.
Okay. So you're watching from the suite. The rest of you, are you trying to like move quickly like to the ground cars and disappear, or are you trying to like sneak your way out because the guards are out in the hallway and you hear like yelling?
I would say
Norma came back.
faster is better.
I suggest a speedy but discreet pace. We don't want to look like we're running away, just that we've got somewhere to be soon.
Give me move checks, please. And I'm going to say, because I have so much threat, 2, 3. You're going to have to give me a move skill test of 4 or higher. To
Yeah,
escape
baby, bring the
notice
pain.
Of the guards.
By the way,
So,
whichever of you fails this, you get an advancement point because it's a higher difficulty than 2.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you for
this
reminding
is
us.
a this is with stealth.
Which is move,
so
yeah.
Move,
So I am
And
getting.
yeah, if you have stealth as
using
a
my
specialty,
focus
then
on-
yeah. Excellent.
yeah.
Do you want
I
me to
have-
do that too? Since I also have to leave the room?
I'm gonna say no because if you're just watching, you're just a bystander watching what's going on. You're not trying to exfiltrate out of here quickly
Right.
or suddenly.
I'm not staying in the room, though, but yes, I am just staying in the casino, in the Pleasure Palace.
Sure.
All right.
I
gonna
succeeded
use-
with 4.
What's wrong with
So-
you? Oh, right, because you're rolling low.
I have unobtrusive,
Yeah.
which is stay hidden while in plain sight for my move, as well as subtle step, which means I can buy a D20 for free. So
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
This is the time.
Yeah.
So I rolled a 4, which is at my move, and then I rolled an 11.
Okay. How many successes did you get total?
So what is the target number?
It would be your drive statement you chose plus your move.
Okay.
And did you have a focus attached to that? Do you have like stealthy stuff?
No.
Okay.
No. Alright, so I believe so I rolled the 4, which is at my move.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the other die would not have been a success.
Which drive thing
What did you pair
pick?
your move with?
Power.
That's less than 11 between the two added up.
Yes, it's 9.
Oh. Well, you got an advancement point.
I did. I'll take it.
Okay. So okay, Daphne did not make it.
That would mean Lady Daphne failed by 3, Eric.
An advancement point. And let's see. And the rest of you, what did you get? Starting with Davos?
The subtle step says when you're versed in methods of avoiding notice, you reveal little that you do not intend to. When you attempt a move test to sneak or otherwise pass unseen through an area, or when you attempt to move an asset subtly through a conflict. Can I be moving Daphne subtly through a conflict?
I'll allow it, sure.
Okay. So I got a 1, a 14, which is still under my 16 total.
Wow.
And a 4, which is under my move, which is 8. So that's
wow. Yeah.
5.
You blew it out of the water. Yeah, you got it perfect, dude. All right. So you and Daphne are safely extricated. They don't notice you. What about Lysander and Pardo and Norma?
I can't help but imagine that as
4.
you're trying to sneak out, and Daphne's like, I must buy that dress. And Davos is like, no, grab, yank.
Probably something exactly like that. Or like Davos is like, Daphne, take the jewelry off your face.
you have 4 of them back at the office.
We don't have time for this. Let's go.
Trying to hide. No,
Would actually like take off the jewelry, give her his hat, and just like move forward.
Yeah. And don't forget, you could use the full momentum of 6 that you have to buy additional dice. 1 for 1, 2 for 2, and 3 for 3.
Right.
What did you get? Lysander. What did Lysander get?
If I rolled it correctly in the generator, it is 1 success.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay.
And Lysander critically failed. There's a 20 in there.
Complication.
What?
Okay.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Pardo.
Well,
Pardo
I'm
got
moving to meet
1
these
success.
You got a
Norma.
advancement point, Lysander.
Yep.
Mark it down.
Norma, what did you get?
1 success. Over here.
Devin, did you get 1 success only?
No, 4.
Oh, 4. You.
Pardo got
all right.
1.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the majority of you get out while Gwillian stays behind and just kind of watches what's going on from the bar, from the gambling hall. Lysander and Pardo, however, as they are like sneaking their way around, you see some of these guards that were lagging to get into position are like, you two over there, yeah, you stop where you are, and they start drawing stunners at you. The rest of you are right there by Zero, and their fleet of purple cars pull up to the side. The hover ground cars, they pull up. And they're like, come in. Do you dive inside and take off, or do you wait for your swordmaster and the mentat to get clear first?
I would say we take the fuck off. They can deal with themselves.
Okay, fair enough.
So much love for Pardo.
My house can do no wrong.
We don't.
Yes, because one of my drives is I must shield those in my care, so
Good.
we
Very
are
good.
not leaving them behind.
He's like trying to push you into the car, Davos is, and then Zero's like, come on, let's get inside. And you're like, no, we have to protect them.
He's
And
not
Zero's
alone.
like, we're getting out of here.
I'm here. I'll save him. He'll save me. Somebody's saving somebody.
Stay in the car.
Lysander, you and Pardo are moving quickly to try to leave, and that's when like 3 or more of these guards all have like stunners and swords drawn, and that's where we're gonna break.
Nice. I like it.
Ooh.
We'll be back shortly in 10 minutes,
do
everybody. Stay
10,
tuned.
10:40 Eastern Time, audience. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
All right, and we're back, and we were just about to get started on our first combat. And the way this combat works in this game is typically, unless it's some sort of an ambush and it's very obvious who goes first, typically the players will go first. And then we sort of go back and forth between enemy opponents and player characters. The only time that is disrupted is if you have momentum and you want to keep going. So if you take a turn and then you want to go again, you can spend 2 momentum and perform another action. However, when you do so, that next action is at +1 difficulty. Let's keep that in mind. But otherwise, it's player, opponent, unless I decide to spend threat, in which case the bad guys will continue to go again. I'm going to say that nobody's really that surprised, so it's kind of even. I'll start with the players. Which one of you would like to go first between Lysander and Pardo, since you're the ones who are like in immediate firing range?
I think Lysander would jump to it very quickly.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so you see there's like 3 of them right now. There's the whole convergence of guards are not on you. This is just a grouping of them, and they noticed by what Byron told them by description, like these people need to be apprehended or whatever. So they're pulled out their weapons. None of them have shields. None of them have personal shield force fields of any kind. One of them in particular is armed with a blade, and he's the closest one to you and Pardo. The other 2 have pistols drawn and are aiming them at you. So one of them is the one with the blades is kind of coming in from the side, and the other 2 are like a couple meters ahead with pistols drawn.
What
3 in
kind
total.
of pistols?
Stunners. Nothing that'll dissect you or anything like that. This is just like
Well,
if
I
they
mean-
shoot you,
Is it the kind if it hits the shield, bad things happen?
No.
Okay.
Shields are pretty much impervious to most firearms of any kind. So if you activate your shield, they're not going to be able to shoot you. I think the both of you have shields, if I'm not mistaken.
Only las guns are a problem for shields ever,
Correct.
which almost no one uses.
Precisely. So Lysander, you're up first. Did you want to go toe to toe with the one with the blades, or do you want to bum rush the 2 with the ranged weapons?
Blades.
Blades it is. Okay. So the one that's kind of like trying to outflank you, he's pointing his blade at you like to, hands on your head. And you break out your weapons and you go right at him?
I think it's probably the best option right now. So,
Sure. He tries to defend himself. Let me see what you're up against. Well, the 6. So that is a success. So you're looking at 2 successes to defeat this one.
You can spend that
Go ahead and
momentum
roll.
from Tony to get a bonus
And-
die and roll 3 die.
And yes,
Okay.
you can. You can roll.
I shall do that, and I'm rolling meat space dice this time because digital ones are angry with me apparently.
What are your drives? What are your highest 2 drives?
Duty and faith.
What's duty's number 1?
Yes.
So protecting your house members is duty, so you can add that to your battle, and you have to roll at or below that.
Yep.
Also, you have blades as a specialty, so if you roll at or below battle alone, counts as 2.
Oh dang. Sweet. Okay, cool. Crossing my fingers on that. I rolled a 17, a 15, and a 7.
It's 2.
That's 2
Wait,
successes?
no,
it?
that's
Okay.
3. That's 3 forever, Eric. The 15 counted.
Wait, what? Really?
Your drive plus your
Wow.
battle is 16.
I'm still getting used
Impressive.
to this.
Okay.
Yep.
Lysander's a
First
badass.
combat. Yeah, for real.
Lysander is
So-
very good at fighting.
So this one's coming in, he's pointing the blade at you, and he's like, hands on your head, and you just kind of like disappear behind the mentat for a second, you reappear, you kind of like walk behind the mentat, and you reach for your blades, and in blinding speed, you dash at this one. Describe exactly how you dispatched this particular guard.
No, he loses his hands.
So he's
Not even
pointing
gonna
at you
kill
like
him. You're
this.
just gonna hobble him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
just-
Ruthless.
okay, so
Are you? Sorry, go
He
ahead.
can't pick up his weapon if he doesn't have hands.
That is true.
I mean,
Sound logic. Very sound logic.
I'm the
So-
mentat. I would know.
there's a method to my madness, I promise.
Oh, mine too. But
Okay.
yeah, continue.
Are you?
Well, your madness is
Lysander
different than mine.
Florentine?
It's because Lysander goes into combat shouting, "Unhand me!"
Fired.
That joke really
Lysander
just
doing
disarmed me.
Is Lysander doing like Florentine style, like 2 blades, or is it just 1 blade in particular?
So my specialties are long blades. So I'd love a picture
Ah.
of 2 at the moment, if
Nice,
that's
yeah.
what my character will allow
Just
for.
like, sure. Yeah, you dash in and you do like a flurry of motion, and all of a sudden, like his hand falls, and like his forearm and his hand like just gets dissected, like here at the elbow and at the wrist, and just falls to pieces. He's like, ah! Clean cut. He just falls to his knees, like, he's done. The other
If-
2, now it's time for the bad guys to go, unless you want to spend 2 momentum to keep momentum and act again.
Oh, this is such a tempting offer, you changeling, you.
How much does it cost to keep initiative but not go again?
I think it's 2. Either way, yeah.
2 either way?
For your
Okay,
side
just
to
curious.
keep initiative, you mean?
Yeah. I don't remember if that you can just buy that or if that's a feat.
No, I think it's at the end of the initiative. Like if everybody's gone, the last person on that particular team can spend another 2 momentum, I believe, to make sure that their side goes next at the beginning of the next initiative or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Also
after you, unless you want to spend 2 momentum to go again, then it would be the 2 gunmen that would get a chance to fire upon you.
Is everyone okay with me doing the 2 momentum to?
Yes, kill someone else.
Yes.
Do it.
Again, gonna go for the hands. Okay, so let me explain.
Sure.
Lysander, yes, is ruthless against the enemies of the Lady Daphne.
Mhm.
However, he also feels that if they survive and don't bleed out and redeem themselves with, they failed like he has in his past, if they earn somehow that redemption, then they deserve it. They deserve that chance. Not much of a chance, but it's a chance.
I'm sure Davos
most
is over
likely
here
they'll
some
bleed out.
days going, why am I in this house? All of these people.
The money's good, man.
This
Apparently.
scar happened for a reason.
Are you going to try to intimidate the remaining 2? Is that the idea? Like you watch
I
me
don't-
didissect your buddy? Like what are you
No,
gonna do
I don't
now?
have time for that.
There's no time to intimidate. Hands need to be stolen.
Hey, catch these hands.
Catch those hands. Okay. So if you, what do you want to use to? Are you gonna go like dash at them again, like try to slash one of them, or are you gonna toss your blade at one of them?
Nah, I don't want to let go of my blades. So yeah, I would go at them.
All right. So you move really fast, like they're trying to figure out what just happened. They're readying their weapons and trying to get a beat on you, and you just like swerve in and you take a slash at one of the 2 remaining gun souls. You can roll battle again. I rolled a 17, so that's not a success. But because you're keeping the initiative, you still have to beat 1 success.
Okay.
I don't
And it's
think it'll be
only-
a problem.
It's only the 2 d20s this time, right?
Unless you
an
spend
additional
threat or momentum, yeah.
I already did that though. Eh. 6 and a 17.
So 2.
Yeah.
How do you
6
numbers
does it.
that?
Yeah, that's all you needed. Do you also slice off this one's hand, or do you like disembowel him, or how exactly do you want to perform that?
No, the hands again. Gonna give him
Oh, okay.
an attempt at a chance, or bleed out, or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
you see
giving
this one like
handjobs.
brings the stunner up to you and goes to fire, and you just like dodge just as it goes off, and the blade just kind of slides in front of their view, and the next thing you know, they're losing their hand as well. He drops back. His buddy's like, shit. He calls for help. Now it is their turn. He retreats from you, and he takes a pot shot at you while he's at it. Okay, give me a move. Oh shit, he rolled a 3. Okay, guys, you nailed you on that one. But you do have a shield, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, he normally he would have just knocked you unconscious or whatever, but because he hits the shield, it just goes bounces right off, and he starts running. He actually
Away
spends
or at
momentum
me?
to keep moving.
Away. Because you're terrifying.
Yeah, he just disemboweled 2 of his buddies and didn't
He
break a
likes
sweat,
his
so-
hands, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he likes them very much.
This
He calls up
pleases-
for help, and you see more guards like notice like he's calling for assistance. They start running over. Pardo, it's your turn.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Don't die.
Goodness. How do I top this now?
Kind of hard to
Yeah.
understandably.
Cool.
Use your
Dagger
cool
in the back,
power
perhaps.
to find the best way to hurt them and then do it. That's how you top that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So I would like to follow the person who just took a pot shot.
Mhm.
Take out a little bodkin knife and stab.
Lord Lycon gives you a bonus
Hopefully for the
momentum to
throat.
buy a d20 with.
Oh, thank you.
Roll terrible, but okay. Go ahead and roll your battle.
A battle with. Gonna do a little bit of power here.
Mm.
So that's one success.
1 success. Okay, excellent. He got no successes.
Nice.
And you just easily dispatch this one. I imagine normally Pardo is very like static and still and doesn't move very much, but this time he actually pours on the speed and catches up to the fleeing guard and just strikes at him with the bodkin. Like, do you do the thing where like you grab him from behind and slit his throat, or do you just like stab him straight in the back?
Doing something very specific here. I would like to stab at his kidney, twist the
Oh.
knife up, and then turn.
Ooh.
Delicious.
He's just like,
We're
"Oh,
friends
why-
now.
Why would you do that? Oh. He just like slumps over on the floor. Bunch of the other guards see that and they start firing at you. Ba, 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 ba. Let's see. So far we have Lysander and Pardo that have gone. Now it is their turn. They're moving into position. They're in a different zone, and they're gonna start taking fire here in a second. Next, I'll have one of you go. I'm gonna say you have between Daphne, Davos, and Norma. Which one of you would like to go first?
I don't think that there is much that Daphne is capable of in combat. So I will let everyone else go ahead of me.
Davis
All
kind of
right.
leans his head in the car. Wait here. Stay in the car. Looks over at Norma. Don't let her leave your sight. And he'll run back in and see de-handed individuals and just
everywhere.
shake his head like, I see Lysander's done his work. And then just try to corral his compatriots and just get them out somehow.
Move them away from the rest of the group.
Yeah, like he knows that Pardo and Lysander are probably are stuck in here, so he's trying to get them, just like wave them over and try to lead them through, like duck and cover.
Okay.
Back out the front.
You move boldly, I think is what that's described as in the game. We basically attract attention to yourself, and that way the rest of your compatriots can kind of slip by.
Okay.
So you like cover among some of the other ground cars along the side of the street, and however you want to describe it, you take a pot shot at the other guards, or you just yell at these guys to move into the vehicle. You scan the lawn and you see like body parts. Oh yeah, Lysander's here, and then you keep going. You see like Pardo is there, like grinning like this with a bloody bodkin in his hand and a dead guard on the
Not
floor.
even grinning, just deadpan expression,
Oh,
bloody
dead-
knife in hand. Expression's too much energy expended.
This house.
There's stunner bullets like flying over his head, and he's just like standing stock still, and you're like, come on, let's go, bam, bam. Cool. So you keep him busy. Do you want to like take a pot shot at the guards, or do you want to do anything to get their attention specifically?
He's just moving in a sort of ostentatious way, like making himself a target, I guess you could say, rather than
That makes sense. Roll move.
Okay. Just move?
Just move. Difficulty 2.
It's always with a drive.
Okay.
Always with a drive, yeah.
Okay, well I'm gonna do duty and move.
Yeah, all right.
Is duty your
Makes
number
sense.
2 drive?
No, it's my number 1 actually.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure it's your number 2.
My number 2 drive.
No,
yes.
it actually.
Wait, it's supposed to be number 2?
He's an honorable smuggler.
It's supposed to be number 2 key, yes.
Duty is number 2. Gotta wait for that one to sink in. Anyway, I got a 2, a 9, and a 12. So that's 3 successes, and
Jeez.
yeah,
Wow.
that
You
2.
get one, then you get 1 to your momentum.
Oh yeah, that 2 is actually under my score, so that's 4.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. You get 2 to momentum. It's gonna deplete here in a moment, but yeah, you wave them over. You're moving, and so you're serpentine, whatever. You're moving very quickly out on the street and drawing their fire towards you, but you're too quick for them, as they're just like neophytes, like firing stunners over your head and into the cars, busting out windows and whatnot. Eventually, these 2 are able to extricate out of the scene, out of the zone, as it were, and go into Zero's ground car, and and one of the other cars whips back around like to try to get out of there, and they pick you up like right where you're at. The doors open. Zero's like, "Come on, get in!" Hop back in.
Dive in. Yeah. Okay.
Some of the windows burst overhead, and like you get like plasteel glass like in different places, but as they're like firing at the cars as they're getting away. But eventually, after a couple warning shots, they stop, and you guys take off into the distance.
Okay. Cool.
William, you're still at the Pleasure Palace. How are you proceeding from here?
I don't want to possibly miss what I'm actually here for. And I do my job for Lady Daphne very well, but I never tell her everything because it'd freak her out. I'm going to spend the momentum Kimchi just gave me to create an asset for the scene. As soon as I watch them escape, I just kind of chuckle and shake my head. And I look into the crowd, and I gesture, and one of my assassins who's been there the whole time shows up. I hand him the explosive and give him directions.
Oh, is this one another face dancer?
Yes.
Okay.
I want him to take on the face of what's his name when what's his name isn't in the office and plant the explosive so I can watch for the assassin.
We're gonna say that this is the same face dancer that you
that makes sense.
put at the port.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he you call him to you using something called the whistling language. You just kind of, it's like your own specific language within the Tailaxu. He materializes very shortly afterwards. As he basically follows your direction. You hand him the explosive. It's like in Byron's office, making an example of
Make
him,
a statement. Make it
put
messy.
Make a statement. Make it messy. He's just like, yes, of course. And he's like, also, you have orders. And he hands you like this cipher.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, huh. From your master.
Excellent. Comes out of my mouth in my head. This isn't good.
You're free to leave now if you want to. However you want to get back to, or you can still use the communinet to make contact with Daphne and the rest of the entourage.
So I'm not going to get any useful
Danger's clear for
information
now.
about the assassin here.
No, he doesn't know what your orders are. They're specific.
No. I was here to watch for whoever's watching for the body that's dead, the dead person. I'm watching for the watcher.
No one comes. Yeah, there's no watchers, to your surprise.
In that case, I'm actually going to check these orders out before I communicate with them.
Okay. We'll move back to the entourage back in the car as you're speeding away from the scene. You proceed as you normally do. Feel free to roleplay. I'm going to secret message Tyler here in a second.
Oh, goodness, that was intense. Is everyone unharmed? I certainly hope so. I'd hate to have to level the place.
You should know better than that. We are well.
Good.
Tosses up a dress that he stole. It's got a little hand blood on it.
Oh, well, I know how to get those stains out. Well, that turned from very friendly to very hostile very quickly.
Well, he was never really friends of ours, clearly.
I think
No,
it's safe to say we
but
can write him off of
he
the card
was
list.
polite.
Is that what we call it now?
Well, he was.
I've met some pretty polite assassins then.
No, I was talking about Byron.
Mr. Borden 81's awarding your next roll, Daphne.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Morden. Wait, no, it's for Mr. Morden. I don't want it.
Wait, do you not know
Alright,
that?
so-
Okay, does Daphne not know that he's the reason why we got fired on? Byron is
no.
the reason why we were good.
Daphne knows that he's the reason why. She doesn't know why he changed his mind so quickly.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Where do you direct Zero to take you from here on out?
That is a good question.
Because you didn't really stay anywhere just yet. I mean, technically, you have a suite at the Pleasure Palace, but that's no longer an option. Do you go back to the spaceport and try to book the earliest flight out of here on a Guild Highliner, or do you you try to go to ground somewhere in the meantime?
I believe going to ground would be the best option at this moment, because I don't want to leave the planet in case there's more here to find, and I certainly don't want to leave without reconnecting with Gwillian.
Agreed. Plus,
Okay, yeah, makes
we're
sense.
in Moritami territory, right? So we might.
The Mauritani, yeah, in this particular system, this sector of space, yes, they are the dominant major house, and their minor houses also control some of these planets like Gamont and their neighboring planets within the system. So yeah, this is dangerous territory to be in this particular circumstance. So yeah, you can absolutely go to ground. That would be a job perhaps for Davos to secure a place, or the Spy Master to secure like a safe house of some sort that you can hide out at until things blow over, and then hop on the next flight out.
Right, because we also need to figure out where we would be flying to. Because Daphne still has
Yes,
her
and-
original task of get this to Celeste, so we got to figure out where she went.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's where Norma's information that she discovered in Celeste's room would come into play. She only had time to give you the basics, like she's not here anymore. She left a clue, but we gotta go. So over the course of the next couple days or so, after you secure a place to lay low for a while, you can dissect those clues and try to figure out exactly what your next move is going to be. If you're gonna go head back home, or if you're gonna head somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll meet back up with them during that period.
Yeah.
I will tell them it was
All right, so you rendezvous
I will tell them
somewhere
it was an incendiary
in Teleport
situation with very volatile personalities that ended explosively.
Such word choices.
And yes, of course, you have the face dancer detonate the Byron's office with him in it, or just try to
With him in
not
it in
kill
such a
anybody
way
in the
that it
process.
shreds him, but he doesn't die immediately. Takes a minute.
Underneath his desk. Got it. All right, sure.
Maybe like in a
Um,
drawer, so then when he opens it,
So,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Norma, are you telling us about the riddle you found?
Yes, I will have told you about the riddle.
Okay. I would like to use my house politics to figure
Mhm.
out a successor to Salusa for the Zensuni. Because
Okay. This. Mhm.
Daphne's current take,
If anybody has. Sorry.
Daphne's current take is the lion beckons with a golden opportunity. We already heard that some nobleman sort of spirited her away who might have been royalty. Like that makes sense she would go, it makes sense she would be afraid. Daphne wants to know what Salusa for the Zensuni means.
Perfect. That's actually very appropriate. Roll your understand with those specialties in mind. Anyone else who has this information can also attempt to roll. If anyone has history or religion, you can roll that as well as part of your if you have those specialties under, I believe, understand. You can roll those as well and see what. And depending on what you get something.
All right,
roll with house
so
unlock that
politics, you
portion of the
said?
riddle.
my drive is power derives from knowing the truth. Would that apply?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Oh, this is my best roll then.
And feel free to spend momentum if you want it. You still have some. I'll say you have 5 out of 6 since we just left the scene.
You got
Oh,
that free dice from a player too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Mr. Morden. Fine, I'll take the gift from Mr. Morden. Because I rolled a 19.
Ooh.
All right. So I rolled a 6, which is below my understanding. So that gives me 2 successes. And then I rolled an 11
Excellent.
for a 3rd success.
Rolled higher than me. I only
Wow.
got 2.
You got 2. You both can pick up some very interesting information though. For I'm gonna save the best for last in this case. Norma, when you see the successor to Salusa for the Zensuni, you know who the Zensuni are. Religiously, these are the people that have wandered the Imperium for hundreds of thousands of years, and until they finally settled on a place called Arrakis. Salusa, you know to be a prison planet that actually belongs to the Carino family. They use it to train their Sardaukar soldiers. You feel like there's a hidden message in here somewhere. Daphne, though, when you heard the words "the lion beckons with a golden opportunity," and coupled with the fact that from everything that you've heard so far, Celeste, or Kyra, if you will, was approached by a nobleman from the court, it immediately conjures the image of the golden lion throne as it's known, or in this particular case, the House Carino itself, the great house that belongs to the Emperor.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Let's see you drop another threat in the bucket.
Oh yeah.
You just got one from Dark
call.
Diffusion.
That would be a good time to add threat. Yes, that's correct.
The reason why though is the only one I will accept that threat without complaint.
Yes, it's because of your obvious love and passion for Dune.
Also, of course, the part where she's alluding to walking into the lion's den to protect her children implies that there's more than one child that she's attempting to shield. Norma got 2. Did anybody else roll?
I got nothing to help with
I
this.
only had 3.
I mean,
Did the
I
mentor?
have.
I don't have any focuses, but would me being a mentat make it any easier?
Possibly. Yeah, basically, focuses are just kind of sort of like specialties. Like you can still say, "Oh, I remember that from history class," but you don't have to have the history focus listed under understand in order to get to just roll for it. It's not like a prerequisite or anything like that. So you can roll and see if you get something.
Would it make sense for me to roll something like understand and justice?
Justice.
Or-
Not justice, no, not in this particular case, because it's not like a punishment or anything like that. She's talking about protecting her children, though.
Oh, duty.
That would be more fitting, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Given what's been discussed so far, yes, you would feel like, yeah, this is actually somebody I have to protect.
And Lysander knows about protection.
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I give it a shot?
Sure. Go for it.
Pardo got 2 successes from his roll, though.
Excellent.
I rolled
I
a 13
know
and a
what to give
14.
Okay. What is that fall on or above your understand and duty?
My understand is 5 and my duty is 8.
13 is to fail.
And
Darn.
yeah. It was a good try, though.
Mm-hmm.
Pardo, on the other hand,
Valiant effort.
you do find something interesting about the order in which these planets were listed. Predecessor to Arrakis, successor to Stalusa for the Zensuni. The Zensuni went from planet to planet to planet, with Arrakis being the final destination where they settled, and are now known as the Fremen, to some at least. So you think about it for a second, you're like, take a swig of some Sappho juice and you contemplate on this, and you run your Mentat projections in your head, and you're like, predecessor to Arrakis, but successor to Salusa, meaning Salusa came first, then this planet, and then Arrakis. You call up like a Solido projection of the map of the Imperium, and you're like, and like you're connecting the dots, so to speak, and the answer becomes almost immediate after you've compiled all the information from everybody else as they've figured out different portions of the riddle, and you come up with one name of a planet that is somewhat known, actually. Ishia. Ishia is a planet that Daphne recognizes because she rolled so well with her knowledge of imperial politics. Ishia is a holdings planet for House Corino. They keep a lot of their goods there. Some whispers say, and this is something Davos would probably know, spice stockpiles on a place like Ishia. So if you're looking at the whole thing completely, it sounds like someone from the Imperial Court approached Celeste with some sort of an opportunity that she couldn't deny. And in this particular case, she had to take it in order to protect her children. And this oppressive garden that she refers to, that is a predecessor to Arrakis, successor to Salusa for the Zensuni wanderers, is this planet, Ishia. That's where she's heading.
That's where we need to go next.
Sure, but how do we get access to a Carino world where they probably stockpile things they don't want other people to see?
You imagine that the Duchess didn't know any of this going forward. That the only knowledge she had of Celeste at this particular, or Kyra, if you will, is that she resided on Gamont and has resided on Gamont for a very long time, up until very recently.
So, I say, so how do we get into a world that we're not supposed to get into? We all look at Davos.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely.
I don't know. How does one get into a world? Hey, what is, like, do they have a major export from that other than prisons or Shartakar?
This isn't that planet. This is different.
Oh, it's not that planet. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's not that one. Yeah. Ishia is hot and arid, from what you know. But there are places where they grow crops, and they spend quite a bit of energy in setting up irrigation in different places outside the main cities. Let's see. It's scarce in water. Let's see. Wallows. Yeah, water is also very scarce there.
It will be smuggled in with the
it's-
water.
Well,
It's mostly desert, actually, with some water irrigation. There are some mountains that gave way to some greenery there, but that's about it. It's very sparse in that sense. So you would imagine, unless they're hiding in the city, they might be out in the countryside, and who knows where they might be at that point. So you can get them to the planet probably using your contacts and whatnot, your knowledge of smuggling goods and services and things in the Imperium. The next question would be how you would be able to track this person down in a place as dangerous as that, potentially.
yeah. First step, get there. I'd probably call my black market contact and see if there's anybody smuggling or doing some trade in quotes, with some, like, I don't know, ice rocks or floating ice bits, or maybe irrigation equipment, or just something like that, something that we can use as a cover.
Okay. You make shit. That would probably be very low. This is like a difficulty 0 thing. I just want you to roll and see if you get any complications. Just roll 2d20 using your communications, any appropriate drives and such for your character to make contact with your people.
Okay, so communication, good do duty in communication, which is 14 target number. So I rolled 2 and 11, so I'm under
no 20s. Okay,
no 20s,
no complications. Then that's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, from when you make your, when you establish contact with your people later on in the evening, after you find a small little hideaway that Zero is able to drive you to, and you all get together, you make contact with some people, and they tell you, the place is pretty arid. They've actually been importing a lot of trees and things to plant in this place and try to essentially terraform it. Importing a lot of things from planets like Ikaz, and it's like they, in order to facilitate transfer of these goods, they require large containers. Sometimes things are lost within the confines of these hayliners, as you are well aware. And he's like, we can perhaps purchase passage for yourself and your compatriots.
Sounds good. He would always try to set up an actual smuggle, and he'd always try to actually set up a legitimate transaction to sort of cover his tracks, and also to make some extra money.
So what do you have to exchange here? And you're like, Tlilaxu dildos. Oh.
Also,
20 tons of cat hair.
20 tons of cat hair. Cat hairballs make great adhesive. Also
200 liters worth of smooth cat's milk.
I also know where you can possibly get a good price in a casino.
All right. Like
little fire damage.
Mild blood stains.
Yeah, he'll offer up one of our rare cats or something along those lines as sort of collateral, or to try to back the transaction. Okay.
Sounds like a deal. Shakes your hand on it.
Awesome.
You set up the meet whenever you want. Whenever you want to extricate out of Gamont and start heading towards Ishia, you can do that.
Okay.
How does that scene look like exactly? Is this like, are you keeping it as clandestine as possible, leaving and entering into the system when you're being smuggled?
Yeah, he would feel there's no need to be any sort of ostentatious. We're in bad territory, so literally totally off the books, like, have an apartment in a cargo hold, or like a what do they call those, a cargo container, like just everything they need to survive the trip, and just
oh man, So I'm
We're going in
imagining
box
like
to box.
everybody huddled up like this instead of a massive container that holds like a tree. Of a
Right,
block
you
of
know,
wood.
a large container that, you know, spacious, maybe two that could be connected in a way with some so
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, just trying to make sure that nobody knows that we're even anywhere near where we're going, or probably have somebody back home put out a notice that her grace is doing something somewhere else or under the weather and hasn't been seen or something along those lines, just to she's not where she is.
What's going with through Daphne's mind at this point, given everything that that's she's learned on Gamont?
So she didn't learn that much because Norma's keeping shit to herself. So right now she's just sort of assuming that this is normal political intrigue. Like, all right, it's probably
Yeah,
just
this whole clandestine thing.
yeah, it's probably just a coincidence that Celeste left right before we arrived. Um, she doesn't necessarily think anything about the like, I'm doing this to protect my children. Like, yeah, people do crazy things all the time to protect their children. That's normal. Yeah, like she's probably thinking, okay, this courtesan attracted Imperial attention, and something probably went weird after that.
Yeah.
But you know, her mother already killed her older sister for being a disappointment. So she's like, no, we're gonna get this box to Celeste. I'm not going home till that happens.
Okay. Interesting. Stick to the mission. It takes a couple days to get there to get to Ishia, but you arrive in a place called Shari City.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big metropolis. Sorry, go
One
ahead.
more thing. Davos mentioned two connected containers.
Yeah, there's one that's like elegant and got all the fineries and stuff.
This one's mine. The rest of you share that one.
Oh, Your Grace, you are so kind.
Wow.
I insist that you're not alone.
Yeah, the only person, of course, that would be or officially object to that is Lysander, who is always by your side. But yeah,
Is it at that moment when I should face dance back to myself and wink at Lysander and say, she's already gone? Just kidding.
Wow.
That's going to happen someday.
At some point,
I can be bribed by the princess.
So I cut off hands of warriors. I cut off faces of face dancers.
You can try.
Is there? I mean, there's like duty officers, like work people who work on these things. Is there any way to have Gwillian actually face dance and like walk around and kind of protect the outside?
Yeah, you can do that. You can face dance as one of the personnel that's serving on board the Hayliner, and yeah, you can basically act as external security for your current confines.
I feel like that's always kind of standard procedure, at least a good idea.
Agree.
Yep. Okay. 1 second here. Secret messages incoming. Okay. Okay. So it takes a couple days to get there, and eventually you arrive in the place called Shari, the Shari City. It's a pretty big metropolis, pretty big city. Exactly what you would think of, like I don't know, Coruscant or something like that from Star Wars. It's a big city, and there's a lot of activity going on here. you didn't let anybody know that you were coming, in keeping with the spirit of the espionage, the clandestine nature of your mission. So no one's there to receive you at the starport. When they unload, your contact Davos makes sure that the 2 containers that you smuggled yourselves aboard of, they get sort of set aside and gives you time at night to basically leave and make your way out. You come out smelling a little bit like resin, I would imagine.
So you got a,
you're like swatting mosquitoes and stuff like that. That's about it.
You got a bonus, Rachel.
I
Nice.
saw. Thank you. So does Mr. Blood.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you.
Anybody here
still
can
smells
roll
perfect.
understand if you wanted to find out where exactly the holdings are for House Green, if you were interested to go that way. Otherwise, you can. How exactly would you go about finding out where Celeste would be located on the planet?
Understand, I have a focus in social awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And compelled truth. Power derives from knowing the truth.
There we go. That's great. Okay.
Same statement, except would house politics help with as a
Politics.
focus for finding
Oh,
Yeah, she's an exile. She's basically like hiding because she's comes from a defeated house. If you come from a defeated house in the Imperium, you're gone. Like if the enemy doesn't destroy you outright, you get exiled to different places. One particular place, or places perhaps, is called Two Pile, which is where most of the defeated houses go that haven't been completely, utterly destroyed. What'd you get for successes?
the 3.
I believe I got 4 because I rolled at
Oh,
or below
nice.
my understanding, and I have the social awareness focus.
Oh wow. Okay, that's really good. Reduce your momentum by 1, whatever it is currently, because you lost some and now you got some back.
Yeah, we are at
see here.
1 if my record keeping is correct, which it may not be.
Excellent. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So with what you have rolled, you know that even exiles of the Imperium have a place. You've actually heard of one defeated house in particular that sort of disappeared, materialized out of nowhere, and they were thought to be completely destroyed, although there are many people who say that some of them actually serve the guild and actually serve aboard the Hayliners and act as guides and organizers and people of that. So not everybody gets completely exiled to Two Pile or whatever, or gets ground into the dust by their enemies. Sometimes they cut deals. And because there's a network for that, and many corners of the Imperium, you know where you might be able to ingratiate yourself onto somebody's graces and be able to extract some information, perhaps about such an exile as this woman. Just like any major planet, there's a strata of social stability here. So you know where to look for people of your own caste, so to speak. The nobility, as it were. And this particular planet is governed, or it's supervised, you can say, by a house called Aingeru, and they are allies, close allies, or House Minor that serve House Carino directly. Let me put that in the chat here so you can see what they look like, or rather what the name is. That's the minor house that serves the Emperor's house here. So you could potentially reach out to them and try to ingratiate yourself in some way, get some information from them, or if you want to go outside of them and just talk to some of the nobility that's passing through, you might be able to get some information from anybody, or from any exiled former house members, as it were.
Okay, Daphne will present what she learns to the rest of the entourage for their feedback and input.
You've arrived at daytime, we're going to say. on the port, on one of the main starports of Shari City. So you're able to leave the containers behind and freshen up a bit before you're able to leave the concourse and go wherever you like. How do the rest of you respond as you're moving away and she's sharing this information with you?
My initial thought is for Norma to make inroads to House Eingeru.
So she'll be your point of contact with them. She'll initiate contact and then you kind of follow it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want
That
me
would
to be
probably-
direct about what we're going for, or?
I trust your judgment.
And this is where Norma gets to decide if they want to be, how they want to present themselves. Because up to right now, she hasn't worn the Bene Gesserit robes. She just looks like
No.
part of your entourage, your royal entourage, but she doesn't give herself away or her faction away in any way. So how would Norma present herself before the nobility or what have you on this planet?
In this instance, I am going to just straight out pull the robes. They're going to be in full view. I'm going in more under the guise of this is for the Bene Gesserit, to me knowing, than it is as for my house that I'm part of right now.
Okay. How I kind of imagine this scene as like you arriving unexpectedly, as Bene Gesserit sisters tend to be, into their main embassy, I guess is the right word for it. And their functionaries just kind of like looking nervously over their shoulders as you just sort of stride in. And no one everybody hesitant to stop you. Eventually though, somebody will, kind of like bar your way before you get too far in and just be like, excuse me, how can I help you?
At which point I am just going to kind of shuffle past in the form of I am more important than you, so that I can kind of get to the taking the obvious floor position of you are putting aside your things for me. I am trumping whatever you are doing here. This is Bene Gesserit.
Communicate.
Okay. So I just walk up to the floor and just look out at everyone, pause for a moment, and I say, you will be assisting the sisterhood now. I'm looking for someone. And I give a quick rundown of the concept Celeste, not going into who they really are, seeing if they don't know. And just forthright saying, I know there were quarrels, but she is useful to us and our program. Now, you will help me. And you
All right,
will
what'd you
gain
get
our
him to
favor.
communicate? And don't forget, you can use momentum. You still have some momentum left that you can use if you want to for this scene in particular.
You guys okay with it?
Yeah, might as well.
Take
Get
it.
late.
Okay.
Good question to the rest of you. Do any of you go with Norma to the House Angiru embassy?
I would only go if Norma wanted me there.
All right.
No, because like I said, this is purely being. I am lying, telling them that this is Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, this is important business.
I'm pulling rank. I am lying through my teeth.
Yeah, Daphne has Bene Gesserit training, which is probably why she knows. Just stand back, let her do her thing.
Yeah.
3 successes.
Oh, excellent. Give yourself a point of momentum back. Yeah, you're just like it would be in your best interest to assist the sisterhood in any capacity that I need. And you see they're like, okay, sure. Let me check with my boss. Yes, come on in. They have you meet with they have you walk into a large long room that is very high up in this particular building within the city. It's daytime, sun is dipping, so the golden light is coming in through the glass walls that create the corner of one end of the room. But there's some shades that automatically sort of come down. You're led into this room, and just by a quick glance around, you realize that the way that this room is constructed is actually in such a way that if you're talking to somebody here, the sound will naturally carry over into the next adjacent rooms or what have you. So there are no known comm eyes or anything like that here, but the way that this room was constructed is such a way that anybody can easily eavesdrop on the next room over. Like it's made by purpose to create it this way. In walks this tall, handsome-looking man, blonde hair. Think Paul Bettany in like a grayish sort of outfish with a purple sash. He walks in and he's like, a lady, a sister. Please have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Do you prefer some spiced coffee, perhaps? Perhaps it's a bit too late in the day for that.
Thanks for the raid.
Fine. Woo!
RPG's Anonymous.
Yeah. You see, he's like, it's like, he's like, my name is Cyprias Dortuja. He's like, how can House Angeru come be of assistance to you?
Cyprias Antuja?
No, I'll put it in the name. There's some wild ass names in Dune, so I completely understand.
Oh,
He's
wow.
like, I'm the treasurer to House Angeru. How can I help you? What brings you to Ishia? Or rather, what brings you to our house?
We're looking for a particular individual. We have tracked them to this particular area, and we believe them to be on this planet, and we would like your cooperation in discerning their location.
Oh, very good. And he's just kind of like, he's trying to probe you, like he's just trying to get like information. He's like, oh, that's very interesting. Well, a lot of people come here for seeking other things other than people. Give me a discipline check.
Audience, thanks for the follows and bits.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Thank you. What are you wanting this to be driven by?
Whatever makes sense for your character. This is basically the treasurer is here trying to get information out of you. Like, yeah, I understand you're trying to like, or he's trying to probe for like a deeper meaning. Like he's trying to get you to say something outside of what you're saying. He suspects that there are other intentions here for the sisterhood to be here. You know, so he's trying to play that game.
Can I use it as a focus of espionage?
Yes, you can.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
You need to beat 3 successes.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This man is no amateur.
Do you guys mind if I spend a moment for one more die?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
We have any?
We had one that just got spent.
Go for it.
Cool, because that gives me 3 total.
Yay!
Hey!
On the money.
Do you want to spend any momentum to get any additional information about the scene?
So I don't think we have any momentum
We don't
left.
have momentum. You're meaning to generate threat?
Yeah, we could trade for threat.
Do you want to spend a threat?
You guys okay with me adding more to his wonderful little
Yeah, because
Might as
otherwise,
well.
I mean,
cocktail drink?
the audience
Yeah,
is
go
going to do
for
it
it.
anyway.
I mean-
So
Yeah, exactly.
True. The audience has been very threatening.
I'm not allowed
Yeah.
to answer you, so do what you will.
Okay. So you
Yes,
gain some
I will,
additional
yeah.
information. This guy is not who he says he is. but he does work for House Aingeru. That much you can tell. You're watching him closely, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the treasurer," and you're like, "No, you're not. You're counterintelligence. You're here to get information from me." So this is some manner of interrogating you without actually interrogating you, and somebody is listening in. That much is certain, and you can see that when you kind of like give him the blank stare, and he hits the wall, and his eyes nervously dart over. They keep looking to the wall. On the far side of the room, and that's where you know on the other side somebody's listening to this conversation. And he's like, well, do you identify yourself? Like, do you say, "Oh, I'm Norma, I'm with the Sisterhood," etc., or do you give him a fake name? Like, how do you go about
I
that?
tell him Norma, Sisterhood, and after beginning this farce of a conversation for a minute, and now, if I could talk to somebody who actually will give me the information I want rather than a second hand, I would be greatly appreciative.
He narrows his eyes at you. He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and you're just like, "Yeah, come on. I've played this game longer than you. You've been alive." And he's just like, "Very well." And kind of stands up, walks out. A couple minutes go by. Door opens up again, and instead this old man walks in. This is Cyprius Tortuga, and he's not a treasurer.
So
He's the head of He's the head of he's the spy master for.
we have a reward of 1 momentum for the group and 1 specifically for Devin.
Nice, well done. You see this old man walks with a limp. This guy's got to be like 200 years old or something like that. He's walking with a couple of aides. They help like settle him into the couch across from you very comfortably. He takes a deep breath and he's like, "I'm Cyprius. You're speaking to me now." And he kind of waves his aides to step aside and give him some breathing room. "Who exactly are you after here?"
I cut the pretense of it being.
He's getting straight to it.
Yeah, no, I cut the pretense. I don't even go with us talking about it being Celeste. I just say, and I'm going to butcher the name again, Kyra.
All right, Kyra, yeah.
Kyra, yeah. And I just say,
like,
we're looking for Kyra.
Kyra.
I know
yes.
you'd know where to. I know you'd be keeping tabs. If
He
they're
kind of nods
in
his,
your area.
his head in agreement. Like, "Not us. The Emperor's people."
Oh, good.
You have your ways into that number.
Cool,
Then you
cool,
have
cool,
your
cool,
ways to
cool, cool,
knowing.
cool.
He's like, we know of Kyra and her presence here. Like, this information is not to leave this room. I'm sure you're aware of this. And he's like, the Emperor's people keep a close watch, specifically near the Sand Peak Mountains. Captain Lassomme is there. She watches with her Sardaukar guard over the valley, near the village of Sul. That's where you'll find your Kyra. I don't want to know why you're seeking her out. He's like, "This is the Emperor and his people's business, not ours. If I am asked, you are not here."
It's because I never was.
He kind of nods and smiles knowingly. He's been playing this game a very long time. He's just like, "Leave as you will then, Norma."
And I just choose to vanish as quickly as I came. No one needs
Excellent.
to guide me out. I just go out on my own.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, so you reconnoiter back with the rest of the entourage, wherever you may be staying at the meantime. You're rich essentially, so you could just stay wherever. You can stay at like an inn or something like that for the upper class, the upper crust. Have your own little suites and rooms and such. When Norma goes back, who do you divulge this information to, and how much do you divulge?
While in the room, I divulge bare bones unless we've done a sweep.
Okay, so you keep it very simple. I know where she's at, that sort of thing. You don't list the specific
I don't
details?
even actually say the words. I know where she's at. Just when everyone comes into the room, I just make the motion so Gwillian knows I have everything we need.
I imagine that while we were waiting for Norma to do her thing, I would have asked Lysander and Pardo to do their things.
Sure. Yeah, always keeping an eye out, that sort of thing, scanning for tails and whatnot. You did a good enough job smuggling yourselves onto this place, although after Norma went to Ingeru, their house agents are now watching you, basically. They're following and they're watching your movements. From a distance, of course, unobtrusively. This is to be expected, of course. And somebody like Gwillian is well aware of something like that. Did I lose you?
Nope. Nobody's just saying anything yet.
Okay, sorry. All right. So you have that information. You have this village of Sewell and a place called the... Oh, I didn't copy that for you. Sand Peak Mountains.
Lysander and Pardo should sweep the room so we can actually talk.
I'm going to say that you
Basically,
secured... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, basically, I'd like to do the same thing that I normally do, that we did at the Pleasure Palace, where I not only checked for bugs, but also checked for vantage points that someone might have view within the room and able to take a shot or sneak in.
Yeah. I'm going to say that because you secured a place to stay before Norma went to House Aingeru, they didn't have any comm eyes or anything like that watching you or anything like that. Nobody at this upper crust inn has any interest of you. They don't know who you are. And they understand that people want to be private about, coming and going here. So that's not an issue. And as far as vantage points, you probably stayed away from windows, I would imagine. Any rooms with like an open view out into the city or whatever, you stayed away from that. Go ahead, Tyler?
When Norma comes in and stares at Gwillian for a minute, and Norma's actually doing the Bene Gesserit communication, Gwillian kind of blinks, says, "Hold on, I'll be right back." Leaves the room. 5 minutes later, walks back in. Smells a little bit like cinnamon. Doesn't say anything to anyone else except, "Okay, I'm back now." Looks at Norma and uses the secret language to say, "What was the message?" and winks.
What was the message?
In other words, what were you trying to tell me a minute ago, Norma?
I give the rundown.
I actually get the message this time because it's me now.
It wasn't him before. Yeah,
That's correct.
That's why he got the quick. I got what I need.
I communicate only with you using the secret communication that, yes, House Carino does in fact keep spice stockpiles here. I have a sample. I also have their security run down the door entry code, so we can definitely distract the guards from the place we need to go to get to this person. We just need to stage an assault on their spice reserves.
Ooh.
Stage.
Sounds serious.
I only tell Norma that with our secret communication until we decide how much we want to tell all these other people what I was actually doing.
Yes.
That's a good question.
I have a question. I have Bene Gesserit education. Does that extend to this code language?
I would imagine so, because I believe you established that it is the unique language of this house, of House Cheshire, that they've developed their own battle language similar to like Chakopsa, but instead of using your hands, you use your eyes. So like you blink a certain way, or you look, or do something funny with them, and you kind of communicate something.
If we're mixing that with Bene Gesserit speak, literally only you ever could, besides the two of us. Or another Bene Gesserit from our house.
So Daphne, if she's in the room, she could definitely pick up on that.
If you want to have this communication while Daphne's like distracted, that's fine with me. I just wanted to know in general.
Say, I would be
Pardo
keeping the
could
child
distract
out of it.
Daphne.
That's up
With,
to Norma. I wouldn't stop that, but I feel like Norma would have this conversation when Daphne was doing something.
And that
Probably,
would be particular because of a Norma wanting it to be that way.
Right.
I'm probably giving Lysander and Pardo extra gray hairs.
I think it's more
And that's
Pardo's
half the
giving
reason why
Lysander
you-
gray hairs by proxy of you, by telling you like the best places to hide.
Okay,
And that,
yeah,
those
that works.
actions right there are the reason why you are not included in this conversation, Missy.
Also, just so the party knows, in all fairness, I paid a lot of threat to get that information for us. A lot of Bothans died to get that information.
Thanks.
Oh, it's 4 Bostonians. All right, so you share that information with Norma. You stay a night or two at the inn within the city limits. How would you like to proceed come the next day?
We would actually like to, using Davos, I imagine, stage some kind of smuggler raid on the spice storage facilities using the information I have to attract away any and all security the Kurinos have, to pull some of the eyes away from Kyra and her retreat,
Yeah.
and then move in.
For that, you'd spend 2, wouldn't it? 2 momentum to create the asset, the intangible asset of the intelligence that is, there's a spy stockpile right over there, and I know how to get in, etc.
Oh no, we did that in the
in which
side.
case
I
he
paid
could
you
use
threat
them.
for that. It's in the side.
Yes, correct. All right, so you already have it, yeah.
But we'd
All
have
right.
to pay
makes
momentum
sense.
to create the assets to raid the spice facility. For Davos to just
That's
happen to
what
know
it-
some
that's what
smugglers
it is.
on the planet.
Probably not on this
Sure.
planet.
Well,
Our
that's
momentum is currently at 0, unless I missed
Oh.
something. But I believe
it's at 1,
Norma.
but it's not at 2.
Okay.
You can pay me in threat, and I'll say that whatever you're planning with the spice stockpile succeeds, but there's a cost to it.
Yeah.
Agree?
I'm okay with that because we need the distraction. We don't want to be seen trying to
Yeah.
approach Kyra.
All right. So Davos used some threat as well, huh? Very cool. All right. All right. So, you go out during the day, the next day, or maybe that night, Davos, and you establish contact with some of the smugglers on Ishia, and you're like, hey, I know where the actual stockpiles are, and I know how to get in. And you kind of like ensnare them into this plot to potentially assault or steal some of the stockpiles off the planet.
Backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
What do we actually know? Like, is that legit information or is that just made up information?
Legit information.
The whole
So
time
we
you
know-
guys were doing stuff, it was my fake face dancer with you. I was gathering this information for days. I haven't been with you since we got to the planet.
Cool. And does you doing that gain threat on all of us or you specifically?
No,
That's up to
I'm
Eric.
tracking Individual. I'm
Hmm.
tracking individual threat usage, and Boyd William has a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we know exactly what, where, and who, then yeah, he would be willing to pass this information along to some smugglers to see if they can try their best to raid some spice holds.
Okay.
He's
You set
not.
something up with.
He feels
Sorry, go
he doesn't want to overtly lie, but he's not against just using them to do, like, if they have a fair chance at getting some spice and stealing shit, he's down
Sure.
for it. But he's not going to send them blindly and to just let them die.
You give them enough information means that they can get in and get out if they're skilled enough. There's going to be a complication in there somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. So you send them on their way, and that would, if you move quickly, you can potentially coordinate that with whatever contact you may be able to use to establish contact with this Kyra woman. How do you travel out into the essentially outside of the city to reach this village called Seoul, which is where apparently she was at before?
What would be the least attention gathering way to travel?
There are actual my brain is not working right now. It's
Is there public transit out that way?
Yeah, like a camel caravan or land speeder.
Helicopter.
Thank you. Yes, there are caravans
Okay.
that go back and forth from those villages that I mentioned, where they grow crops and things, and they
Mhm.
take them back. It's like fresh produce, and they take it back to the city. So yeah, there's traffic going between the major cities and these smaller villages that are outliers. So yeah, you can join those caravans and like blend right in if you do it right.
I feel like that's our best option.
All right.
Yeah.
You travel, then you're setting yourself up for traveling for a couple of days. Then leaving the city and then getting to this place called Seoul, this little village that's right along the riverside. River kind of curves around, goes into a valley, and disappears out of sight. The valley is vast, and the Sand Peak Mountains kind of hover above that valley. And judging by the information that Gwillian was able to retrieve for you, you all know that the Sardaukar are perched there on top of the those mountains. Like they have a outpost that they use to watch over the valley with, and they are armed with thopters that they can basically like drop into the valley and scour the area for threats. So they're there to guard, and it takes a couple of days to get to Seoul, and it's very much exactly what you think of in terms of like a small riverside village. They fish, they grow vegetables, fruits, etc., and they sell it to the different vendors in Shari when they sell it to the locals at the market. So, with that being known, you arrive into this little village, and you see a lot of the people here are, they regard you somewhat curiously because I'm assuming you're probably not dressed the same way they are.
That doesn't. I would see that we would dress the part at least. I don't think we would stand out.
You'd acquire some lesser garments,
clothing.
as it were.
Yeah, I would.
Daphne and the
I would
entourage.
try to negotiate with the caravan to be like, look, we're trying to just get there. Give us your garb or whatever, and we'll dress like you. Tell us what to do. We'll blend in as much as possible.
Okay, they're not gonna oppose to that. You bribe them, or do you just try to like convince them?
I would try to communicate.
I would like to let you know, and that's just in and out of character, and only you, like, is away from everyone except Norma, because she knows. I have a solid pound of spice I stole from the Carinos we could trade with. That's a fuckload. It's like a pound of coke.
It's a lot of money.
Okay,
lot,
are we willing to?
Just a little bit, if you need to. If you fail the communicate roll, we can buy them off with a beer full of spice.
Spice beer, here you go. Boom.
Okay.
Spice beer with double the spice.
Yeah, he'll do that. Don't have
Sure.
anything.
Communicate, and whatever your drive would make sense. You're trying to do this for the house, or
So
for this particular
duty.
mission.
I'm gonna go duty, which is 8, and communicate, which is 6. I also have charm attached to that, which is befriending others and appearing trustworthy.
Great. Perfect.
So that is.
You get 2?
Did I get 2? Yes, I got 2 successes.
That's perfect. What you need. Okay.
Actually, I rolled
threat that I've acquired.
I rolled a 2 under, so that's 3 successes.
Excellent. So you actually get 1 momentum back.
Awesome.
So yeah, you successfully, like, hey, you want a little bit of spice? Just need to look the part, get into Seoul. We're looking for somebody. Okay, sure. They bring you on board. You make your way through the caravan. You meet a lot of interesting people you normally wouldn't be. Normally never meet, just because they're a completely different caste than you. So Daphne's definitely out of her element for the most part, but the people here are not terrible. They're actually pretty nice. They share their food with you on the route back and forth from the village and to the city. When you get there, I'm gonna say it's nighttime. There's like a little pub type area where you can convene if you want to talk to the locals, or if you just want to reconnoiter the area instead and just keep quiet. I don't know how you want to approach that.
Davis would probably like sit in the pub, try to like figure out if there's any local smugglers, any local traders. Just
Lots of traders.
Okay,
Lots of traders here, hawking wares and stuff. Yeah, from the city, and then they go back in the morning or whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of like trade that occurs here in Seoul. Yeah. So did you want to speak to them specifically?
I mean, unless there's anything. Fuck it. I'm going to use passive scrutiny, which means you're quick to notice details which may be of importance later. So walk into this this establishment and just sort of try to listen, pick up on anything that might be going on in the area that might be of importance, might hinder us, might help us.
Sure. You walk in and you start looking around. It's a big inn, multiple stories. You all feel fairly comfortable in here. It gets cold at night because it's mostly desert area around here, or at least south of the river anyhow. So it gets kind of cold. So you walk in and like they have a big several fireplaces going and stuff, and people kind of look at you and they're noticing that you're with the caravan and everything. So you just kind of look around. Somebody drops a drink in front of you, and it's the guy that the people that you bribed to bring you aboard. They buy you a drink, and you notice that there's there's an image of a portrait on the wall that was somebody painted.
Mm-hmm.
Not a portrait. It's like an oil painting, and it shows like this big hill with a cottage on top. And you kind of like, that's interesting. And you kind of like, you remember seeing that earlier, and you kind of like look back out. You see that deeper into the alleyway, there's a lot of hilly area. It looks like somebody like painted something that exists out there, and they hung it up on inside this particular inn.
Oh, interesting. Does that look like a dangerous place? Like he'll walk back outside and just kind of look around and try to notice it and survey it. Does it look guarded? Does it look important? Like what
it
sort
does.
Looks guarded?
It looks different too. Like within the valley, there's like tall trees that make up a fairly large forest that goes around this rocky outcropping, and is sort of overlooked by the mountains, the Sand Peak Mountains. Does anybody else do or say anything while you're in the little inn?
The only thing I would say that Davos does after that is if by the time he gets back to Gwendolyn at some point, he wouldn't even say anything. He would just point up in that direction, and that's usually enough to indicate that's something important. We need to look into that.
Put some music here. You
I will.
You point that out to somebody, like, or do you like point out the picture, or do you ask about the valley itself?
Yeah, he would. But yeah, he'd try to gather some information about it and be like, "So, notice that. What's important? What's that place? What's important about that?"
It's like, well, those are the protected lands. You see the bartender says he's wiping down the bar, and it's like nobody goes down that way. And it's like the Emperor Sardaukar guard the top of those hills. It's like don't go anywhere near the cottage. Although I'm sure if you wander out that way, you'll probably see the sensors. He says.
Sensors. What's the significance? Does the painting look like it has the indication that it's guarded, or does it look mundane? So what was the significance?
Yeah.
What's the significance of painting that picture then?
Oh, that was to commemorate the wedding that took place.
Yeah, wedding.
He says.
Recently or old wedding? Like what's
This is a long time ago, about 10 years now. Actually, he says. He looks up at the painting.
10 years. Who got married? Who was the happy couple?
Don't know the groom, but the woman that got married, she used to live here for some time.
Oh.
Her name was Kyra.
Oh. Interesting. Pretty name.
Pretty lady, he says.
Cool. Then yeah, definitely gotta point that out when he gets back to the group.
Yeah, you're just shooting the breeze in the bar, and you're like, Well, okay. You head back up. Who do you tell this to? To everybody or to?
No, he will almost always tell
Daphne.
Daphne's out looking at dresses. The first person he
She's
always
not an airhead.
I think he means me.
Yeah, he will always go back to Gwillian because he trusts him the most and knows that he gets things done. So he'll say something along the lady is in the roost, pointing up to that area, trying to use innuendo to
Do you convey that to the rest of the party or to Daphne specifically, William?
No. What I'm going to do is, since we're close to the end, I'm going to use that last momentum I just got, real spy-like from an audience member, to ask you.
Oh, nice.
What's the best way to bypass the sensors and get into the valley?
That's a tough one. Honestly, if you have the tools, you can bypass them. But even if you do that, you risk alerting the Sardaukar on the top of the peaks that one of the sensors is out. In which case, at the very least, they would send out a scouting troop to check to make sure that it's not just some wild animal that got caught in the.
Which is why my question is,
like
what's the best way to bypass them, not disable them?
You'd have to go above them. Because it surrounds the immediate perimeter of the cottage that sits on top of the hill.
I guess it's a really good thing our house specialty is ornithopters.
Stealth ornithopters.
And espionage. Yes,
correct.
I know. All right. So now you have some credible information, and now you have to make a plan. You have to decide how exactly you're going to infiltrate this cottage without incurring the wrath of the Emperor's personal terror troops, the Sardaukar. And that's where we'll stop for this evening.
Yes.
Hope everybody here and those watching enjoy the show. We'll continue our adventure into the Imperium next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed tonight's program, feel free to check out our other awesome adventures and terrifying tales. In the way of awesome adventures, this Wednesday, we have our own Space Boy Pajamas running the finale for the truly awesome Tales from the Loop, Born in the Woods. Also, be sure to check out the Scarred Lands Dracogenesis Season 1 finale this Friday. For Terrifying Tales, this Tuesday, we have Exalted 3rd Edition, Tomb of Dreams, Dwayne's Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Strange Aeon Season 2, The Thrushmore Terror, on Thursday. Next, we have the all-new Mage the Ascension Technocracy Reloaded from Invictus with Love on Saturday. And finally, on Sundays, Tyler's is running the hot hybrid mage and cult crossover game, White Walls. And now for those of you who stayed... go ahead.
I'm going to jump in here and say, coming soon in May, starting next week, actually, there's going to be shows on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for our European viewers to have a chance to watch us live and not be dead on their feet when it's done. They will all start at 9 or 10 GMT.
And now
BMT.
For those of you that stayed after
BST.
the credits...
UTC.
It's time to go over favorites. All players in this game can select another player as their favorite for that session for any reason. And recipients get a reward in the form of 1 advancement point for their character. For viewers, voting is open as well. You too can choose a new favorite each week for all shows. You have to be quick because voting for the session ends just after our closing reel finishes. So be sure to cast your votes in the Twitch chat as soon as you can. Beginning with Rachel, who played Daphne. Who's your favorite and why?
Oh, I really liked Sir Away from the Camera right now. Devin's depiction of Norma was really good. It was fun to watch him work.
Indeed. And Key, who played Pardo.
My vote goes to Gwillian.
Thank you.
Being not really here for like half the time, and being someone else somewhere else.
Still effective though.
Very effective.
Ever, who played Lysander.
Oh my goodness. I'm also going to have to give it to Devin for his playing of the Bene Gesserit because it went from like really like, okay, yeah, I'm Bene Gesserit to I'm a motherfucking Bene Gesserit.
I'm a motherfucking problem. Yeah. All right. Sean, who played Davos.
I'll give it to Daphne, just because I'm looking at dresses.
For putting up for all of your shit.
I mean, that was something you suggested.
That is true. I did suggest that. But I did get you a really nice cargo carrier, so, you know.
That's true.
Devin, who played Norma, is he there, or was my camera?
He had to
frozen?
step away.
Oh, okay. Ever, do you know who Devin wants to vote for?
I have no idea.
We'll have to find out when he's back.
Last but not least, Tyler, Blake William.
I'm going to give mine to Pardo this week.
For the bodkin in the back?
For the explosives to make a statement.
Oh. That was a good use of assets. Fucking A.
He's back.
Oh,
You can
Devin,
ask him.
who's your favorite?
My favorite is Pardo for killing somebody and then doing the deadpan.
Yeah.
Just that. That was
His
perfect.
kidney just did that.
Also, Eric,
Yes.
so you know, I'm spending one of those advancements to make my face dancer double a permanent spy asset.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Yeah. And there's continuity in that, so that works for me. All right. Awesome. You all did an excellent job. I've been Eric. I'm Ron Recluse on Twitter. You can find me here again on Sunday for Tyler's Mage cult game, White Walls. Big thanks, as always, to our patrons for supporting what we do. Special thanks for Hex and Cursed. If you want to be awesome and do the same, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/VorpalTales and keep up to date on what we're doing throughout the month by checking the updated calendar on VorpalTales.com. And thanks to you, our viewers and fans, for tuning in. I'm going to roll a D6 now.
Nope.
See who...
D10.
No, we're not doing wrong? The D10. Oh,
Yeah.
dang. All right, I'm rolling a D10. I'm going to tell you the results and see who wins. I rolled a 10. Who's number 10?
10. Gotta count now. 10 goes.
I rolled the...
Oh no, Rachel. 10 goes to Mr. Morden, 81.
Mr.
Oh, no.
Morton. Congratulations on being tonight's winner. Send us a message in the Twitch or in the Discord chat with your email details, and we'll send you your gift certificate.
Yep, just send me
thanks
your
again.
email in either the Twitch chat or to our Discord or to our Twitter, and I will get them to send it to you.
Thanks again to Modifius for their support for this awesome game. Good night, everybody. See you next week.